Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
All right, welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush, Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. G's playing music right before we go on the air.
Yeah, man.
Is that somebody calling you?
Nah, that was.
Is your mic on?
My mic is not on.
It's dangling from your.
Where is my mic?
It's by your leg.
What happened? What is going on here?
I leave for a couple days, and you out here looking bad, bro. What's up?
Yeah,
bro?
I don't know what happened.
I feel some type of way.
There's my mic.
You ain't hit me
How
with
did
a
that not
record
get
today.
connected? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I didn't hit you with a record.
Yeah, man.
We're off to a little bit of a rough start here, folks, but we'll pull it together. Thank you.
I would play it, but it's copyrighted music, so you know.
What was the song?
Man, so today I was going.
Feels very behind the scenes right now.
I was going to hit you with a little bit of Lauryn Hill, "Killing Me Softly."
There you go. All right, between G's music and Tyvis being inappropriate work, we move on.
Bull is mad. Okay, listen, everybody, pay attention to this.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm one of those people that I believe in. If somebody pays me to do something, then I should be there and do that job. Bull is mad at me that if I become a full-time employee somewhere and you get paid time off, that I won't use the PTO. I said unless it's for an emergency or like my kid's or wife's birthday or something like that, then there's no reason for me not to be at the job.
Yes, there is.
That's all I said.
Well, people have fought hard for years to be able to get paid time off as people deserve.
That's fine.
CEOs are off all the time. They don't actually ever work.
I'm going for employee of the month.
Millions of dollars.
I'm trying to win.
You're insulting every
I'm trying to
worker.
win employee of the month every month.
It sounds like a Bull is Jed Wills' agent.
No, you don't work. He's only working 17 days a year. So.
Right, like he is like
Yeah, he gets plenty of paid days off. It's called the winter, the summer.
No, it's called
spring.
It's called in the second quarter on the pass block.
That's true. That too.
Wow.
We got a lot to get to.
Y'all wrong.
Obviously, we'll talk about
decision.
Jed Wills making business decisions.
Tyvis
Tyvis making business decisions. We've got Anthony, Mike, and Steve on the other side of the glass. But, of course, the big story of the day is the 12-0 Cavaliers, which we're going to spend a lot of time on. Aditi and Mary Kay later. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, before we dive into a read and before we get into the Cavs' dominance, I had to bring something up this morning that's related to the Cavs.
Okay.
So I haven't shaved in a while, as you guys can see. It's been 21 days since I've shaved. Do you know how I know that? I shaved the day the season started for the NBA. It's just coincidence. It didn't happen to be like that.
So now you feel like you have to not shave?
I want to shave this so badly. But I cannot shave until the Cavs lose the game.
Didn't we just agree yesterday that there's no such thing? Like, you don't believe in that nonsense, do you?
I don't, but if I shave and they somehow lose to Philadelphia or on Friday to the Bulls or on Sunday to the Hornets and I shaved the day before, I will feel bad. I know it has no impact on the game whatsoever.
None.
But I will feel bad, and I will put the loss on myself.
No.
And because it's a historic streak, they're now just the 8th team in NBA history to ever start a season 12-0. I can't have that on my conscience.
No.
So what do I do?
You shave because that's a ridiculous
no, you
comment.
don't, because it's no shave November.
I just shaved 2 days ago.
Well, you blew it. you blew it. You're supposed to let it just all grow, all of it.
I let it grow all the time.
Everywhere.
But I was
just
like,
let
guys,
it
this is enough.
Just let it grow.
Do you really? I mean, you know, Mike, do you really think there's any chance that you shaving a beard or not can? I mean, if you really had the power to control the Cavs' ability to win or lose based on the length of your beard, I mean, that would be you're a pretty powerful human being. I mean, it seems impossible.
My facial hair has no impact whatsoever on the Cavs.
That's right.
However, I would feel personally responsible
That
if
doesn't
the
make
Cavs
any
lost
sense.
and I had shaved the day before.
So since you put that on me the last time I was here, we're gonna put that on you. Right now, if you want to super chat and let me know what Mikey McNuggets looks like in that beard, right now he's the most likely in his school yearbook to be looking at windows at 9 p.m. just in somebody's treehouse, just all in the second floor balcony, bro, just creeping, bro. This is out of control, bro.
Well, we put in the chat. If I should shave or not, so we'll give it another 10 minutes and we'll get the results.
He tried to
later,
skip past that. It didn't work.
Yeah,
It's still here.
Oh, shit.
No, gee, listen, it's itchy. I haven't grown it out. Like, it just happened. That I
Yeah.
Are you putting like moisturizer or something in it? Some
Man.
oil or
It looked like
balm?
Mike looks like the kid that showed up at the what's it called, the dining hall, late, hungover.
Why would you follow that up with that? That wasn't it.
That wasn't it.
G's was funny. Yours
You
was not.
supposed
That was not funny.
Just looking
looked
at
like-
windows.
Mine was not funny.
He looked like he'd be on Instagram DMing people talking about we got a lot of comments.
You're on a roll, Chief.
What you
By the way,
mean?
did Tyvus just curse?
Nah,
What'd I say?
He caught that.
Say S-H-I-T?
No, he caught that.
No.
He caught that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he caught that. Okay.
So we're gonna let the chat decide on that. But I really am at a dilemma. 'Cause
There's
itchy,
no
and I don't-
dilemma. You're being silly. It just doesn't make any sense at all.
The chat so far disagrees with you, but we'll.
The chat is stupid. I mean, what can I tell you?
Well, don't you dare disrespect our chat.
I'm going
like
to disrespect the chat. If you believe that Mike shaving his beard or not controls whether or not a basketball team loses,
It does.
you are a low intelligence person. I mean, that's not my fault. It's just the reality.
It does.
No, there's no connection whatsoever.
Listen, you
None?
don't believe in
None.
you
What
don't
if the
believe
guy
in
in your group
superstition?
chat- What if Mush shaved his beard?
Now, he's the one exception. Mush.
I don't remember his real name. So,
John. Yeah.
so if John had a beard and happened.
No, it wouldn't have
coincidentally-
nothing to do with that. But he's just an idiot, too. So, but anyway, go ahead.
All
Let's
right,
talk about the
Let's
Cavs.
dive into the game itself
Yeah.
after a quick word from FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. You can bet on everything on FanDuel. NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, you name it. FanDuel has odds for it. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So
funny.
the Cavs beat the
Yeah.
Bulls last night. Bro.
Yeah. It's
12-0.
Go
And
ahead.
they are. Just want to mention one thing, then take it away. Kenny Atkinson's a mad scientist, and right now he can do no wrong. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even really play. I didn't even think they played particularly well last night for the most part. It was a weird game because they won.
Yes.
They didn't play a particularly good game, but they've gotten to the point now where they're so good that even when they don't play that well, they're able to win, especially against a bad team.
It's because there's so many different contributors.
And because Mike didn't shave his beard.
Well, that too. That's the biggest reason. But, I always like the fact that the Cavs do it in so many different ways. There's games where they're swinging the ball around to each other, getting the best shot available. But then there's games where Darius goes off. There's a game where Donovan goes off. I like the fact that they're able to do that. Last night, the bench, like everybody on the bench had like 12 points or something like that. It was crazy. Yeah, you got like 3 people off the bench scoring a lot of double-digit figures and things like that. So it's just so many different ways that you have to, they really test your roster. This is like the first time I've seen a team test the full roster. Like, everybody has a great starting 5, but you need some people to come off the bench. And everybody that comes off the bench for the Cavs does well.
Yeah. I mean, there's nobody that's like, you're like, oh, why are they
Yeah,
playing
like
him?
anybody on any given night can give you something.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, is what's making this Cavs team so scary, is that they getting so many contributions from everybody. You got your main guys, even though I don't know what the heck going on with Jared, but you got your main guys with Evan, Darius, and Donovan. Like, they're going to do their thing. But then, even if they're not working or something's not clicking, you could get a Ty Jerome comes in and boom, he sparks something, stuff like that. So I think that's what's making this Cavs team so special and so hard to beat. And JB, you held us back for 3 years.
You know what's funny is 2 years ago, they went into the playoffs against the Knicks, and you didn't even like their starting lineup. Like, there were guys in the starting lineup be like, oh, this guy can't play. Now, everybody that plays for the Cavs, or at least plays, decent minutes, which is the entire starting lineup plus like 5 guys off the bench, none of them are playing poorly. Like, I'm not saying everybody has a great game every night. Like, Sam Merrill didn't play particularly well yesterday.
No, he went 0 for
But,
5.
like, overall, they're all playing to this point in the season at least what you thought, if not better. There's nobody on this team playing worse than you thought they would play. Nobody.
I had a thought as I was driving up here, and I'm going to let you go.
No, you got it. You got it.
I'll let you go because I thought about this. Hey, for the 99s and the 2000s. Anyways, you know how Darius said, like last year, he lost his joy for basketball, and we saw how he played. I wonder if that was a JB thing. Because it seems like a lot of people weren't having that much fun, and it was just like not. It started off with a ton of excitement, and as the season went on, that excitement started to die down. I wonder if because they made a change and Kenny Atkinson comes in here and does these things and changes things, how they look at basketball, how they're playing. Is that why everybody's having fun? Is that why you're getting this production from the bench players? Is it the system that he put in? So it's like everybody can eat in this system to where, we criticize JB a lot about him not running no plays or nothing. It was just Donovan do whatever and pick and rolls and stuff like that. I wonder if the fact that you got this offense that's a moving parts where guys is in motion, guys setting picks, guys is hitting backdoor cuts and stuff like that. I wonder if that having that type of success and seeing it like that is what's keeping everybody interested, what's getting everybody to come in and be productive off the bench, to where JB, it was like, figure it out. Like, you got your own stuff. Not and no disrespect to JB, but y'all know what I'm saying.
I mean, you just spent the last 5 minutes disrespecting
Much
him,
disrespect.
I didn't. Ain't no disrespect.
I mean, you did.
JB did a
Which is
lot.
fine, but
JB did a lot. He helped groom a young Cavs teams, teach them how to play defense, how to play hard. Got them to the playoffs. Got them through the play-in to the playoffs to the next round. So he did some really positive things here. So it's no knock on him. I ain't got no hate for JB, but I'm just saying. It's not ironic that things look completely different, and we do owe the Cavs organization an apology because we all said it was a lot of major changes that needed to be had, and they said it was just the coach, and right now they look right.
See, I'm gonna tell you this: people should look at this situation and understand that coaching matters. It's way too often that we say, "Well, what is the coach supposed to do? The coach can't shoot for him. The coach can't hustle for him." The coach didn't drop the football. Listen, if that's your ideal about what a coach is, you shouldn't have a coach then. You should let people be player coaches like Bill Russell used to be. When you look at what J.B. Bickerstaff was doing last year, and people say, well, they didn't make any major changes. Yes, they did. Sure the heck they did. they got this dude out of here that didn't have a rotation, don't know anything about no offense. And here's the problem with this. Have you ever worked for a boss that you knew more than?
Pretty much every boss, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. When you work, as we just skip over that, I didn't say it.
You just let him have it.
See, that's you got to aim.
Yeah.
You got to acknowledge, ignore, and then move on. Right? Like you aim them in the direction you want to go in, right? Shout out to AIM.
ED Steve is pissed right now.
Hey, man, I didn't say it, man. Listen, give me his money.
Yeah.
It's like that in my account. See, I didn't say nothing. But here's what we're going to say, though. When you working for somebody and you have ideas and you know how things work and you have a track record of success and then you got somebody consistently telling you certain things that you know ain't going to work, it becomes a toxic situation because now it's borderline on, I'm just going to run what I want to run. Or, we out here losing. Your program obviously doesn't work. Go back to when LeBron James, when David Blatt was drawing up out-of-bounds plays for who did he draw up a play for? Like, it was somebody other than LeBron.
And LeBron said,
and he was like,
not a chance.
Not a chance, buddy. Like, I believe in insubordination. Right? And what is it? What is it called? A Crimson? Denzel Washington was in
Crimson Tide?
Crimson Tide?
Yeah.
I do not concur.
Yeah.
I do not concur.
That's right.
Section
Gene Hackman.
Section 2.35. Put him in lockup. Yeah, like I screwed that up, but you get it. So
good movie.
A great movie, by the way. They was jousting back and forth. But my thing about the situation is this: coaching matters. You should learn about that in football. You should learn about that in baseball. who you have calling the shots means something. And by the way, I will apologize, and I'm not going to apologize for telling them they should have been playing better, because that is a catalyst for them playing better this year. They knew what type of time they was on.
That's right.
Like, and now they came with their A game. People worked in the offseason, they made a change, that coach. But we sitting here now, and Mikey McNuggets, I saw a stat somewhere while I was at home, and it said not only do the Cavs have one of the best offenses that they've ever had in history of their team, and one of the best starts ever, right now, as constituted, they are running the most effective, efficient, highest-rated offense in the history of basketball through 12 games. Now, for us to be in Cleveland...
You saying the history of basketball?
History, all of them. That's the Jordans, that's the Birds, that's the Magics. So for me, I believe in stripping all medals and rights for the Cleveland Browns and giving all those medals and rights to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Kool-Aid Mafia has switched all the way over. We've left the cellar dry in Berea. We've left the cellar dry. There's no more Kool-Aid.
I mean, to be fair, it should have gone straight from the Guardians to the Cavs.
It should. But we was late on that. The Kool-Aid has now switched. It has now switched to the Cavaliers because they are on pace for not only a great team here, but all-time great right now, and it should be celebrated.
I think...
Can I just give a little context to the stat you mentioned?
Yeah.
So, not to poo-poo the stat at all, G, because it has been incredible. Offensive ratings, the stat you're looking at, before last night, you were right. They had the highest offensive rating in the history of the NBA.
Wow.
After last night, they've dropped to second all-time, behind the Celtics of last year. In the top 6 teams of all-time in offensive ratings ever, 4 from this year and 2 are from last year.
Yeah, so it's not.
I don't want to poo-poo the stat because what they're doing is incredible.
Yeah.
The offensive ratings, advanced analytics with the threes and the pace and the spacing
are
all out of whack. The first highest offensive rating of all time that isn't in the last 3 years was the KD, Kyrie, James Harden.
Brooklyn all right. But Mike, let me get to some other things on this. First of all, how many teams have started 12-0 or better? 7?
They're the 8th team.
They're the 8th.
And 5 of the 7 previously have made the NBA Finals.
Were the other 2 teams that lost in the first round?
Hold on, I'll pull up.
You have that? Because
maybe I'm thinking the Mavericks and the Seattle Supersonics.
There was a Supersonics team, I believe.
94, maybe?
Here are the 8 teams in the history of the league that have started at least 12-0.
Okay.
So in 15-16, the Warriors won 24 games
to
start the season.
That's wild.
The Houston Rockets in 93-94 with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, they won the championship.
15 games to start the season. You got to go all the way back to 48-49, which doesn't really count. I don't even know what WSC stands for. The team abbreviation is WSC. I'm not quite sure what that is. So, them.
Washington Commanders.
So what about that Atlanta Hawks team that the Cavs beat in the playoffs?
They did not start anywhere near that. The other teams, real quick, Dallas in 2002-2003 won 14. Boston in 57-58 won 14.
Yeah.
The MJ Chicago Bulls 96-97 won 12. Seattle in 82-83 won 12. And this year's Cavaliers team.
Now that Seattle team, they lost early, didn't they?
Correct.
Okay. So, all right. So, you hope that this Cavs team is not that team. The only thing I'll say in terms of, ultimately Kenny Atkinson, as great as it's been, and right now he looks like as big an upgrade as you could have at coach. We still got to see what he does in the playoffs and how they go, how they end up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
WSC is the Washington Capitals.
I was close.
We was close.
Why you always doing that? Why? You always doing this? It's always about the playoffs.
No, but because it is. No.
Yes.
Listen, I'm all in right now, Tyvus. I am all in. I'm enjoying. I watched an entire Cavs-Bulls game on a Monday night. I'm all in.
Over Monday Night Football?
Yeah, I watched barely any of the Monday Night Football game. Put it on just during the commercials at halftime.
And that's his catch-up. He could have been watching catch-up series.
I got to tell you. So I'm all in. I'm not poo-pooing. For once, I'm not poo-pooing the regular season. I'm just saying, to be fair
let me ask
to JB, they got to do it in the playoffs.
Can we get you to tweet out the hashtag?
You won't tweet out hashtag let him know right now.
I still think let him know is.
Do it.
It has nothing to do with the Cavs. It's just lame. Let him know it's lame.
It's slightly cheese my cheese.
If we get 20 gifted memberships in today's show, will you tweet out hashtag let him know?
I will tweet out hashtag let him know. But I'll say it. One other thing
I got a few more thoughts too.
Another thing about last night. So Ty Jerome right now, you mentioned him briefly. What this guy is doing is absurd.
Yeah, it is.
I was actually in the text chain for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah, you were.
5 minutes. I was like, this Ty Jerome. Listen, I don't know how Earl. First of all,
Yeah, give Earl his flowers.
I don't understand how he picked this man out of a random lineup. It was like Ty Jerome. He only had nothing to back it up. He just be like, yeah, I like him.
I never even heard of Ty Jerome before last year.
He won a national championship at Virginia. He was the best player on that UVA.
Okay, fine. I never heard of him. I didn't know who the hell he was.
He didn't even know Virginia won the championship.
He had like a sprained ankle and missed the whole year.
He came from the Warriors, right?
Yeah.
Correct. He was with Atkinson in Golden State.
But is there a guy in the NBA per minute playing better than this guy?
So
I don't know.
I actually tried to. So Jason and I are doing a Cavs show today, and we're going to focus a whole thing on Ty Jerome.
Yeah.
Because my favorite subplot of the NBA this season, Steve, take that video. You can just take it full.
Yeah.
Ty Jerome's become like one of the best defenders in basketball out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He's averaging 3.3 steals per 36
Look, give me that.
minutes in his career. His career.
Hush.
On a per 36-minute basis, he's averaging 3.3 this year. That's second in the NBA.
Yeah.
In his career, on a per 36, his previous high was 1.6.
How is this happening? Who's ahead of him, by the way?
Popped it out.
In steals,
Pause.
Dyson on the Pelicans is averaging 3.7.
What about like assists per 36 minutes? He's got to be up there too, no?
I closed it out. Give me 1 second. Pull it
I
back.
mean, this guy, every time he's in there.
So
it's crazy.
Are you saying that right now he should be the front runner for sixth man of the year?
Me and Earl got in that argument this morning. He's not close to that, but
I saw
36 minutes.
Wait a minute. Who
I'll tell you why he's not close.
Guys, we're not watching
36,
other teams. We don't know what.
His per 36 minutes, 22.5 points per game, 7.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds. He's shooting 61% from the floor and 54% from three.
Man,
Also shooting, by the way,
83
from the line. With 3.5 steals per game.
I'm trying to think
on a
of
per
us.
36-minute basis, he's been one of the most effective, efficient players in basketball. But the reason,
well, the Warriors have the sixth man of the year, right?
they have
right
two.
now,
Buddy
I mean,
Hield
it's
and
early,
Kuminga are both. The issue with him in terms of the sixth man of the year award, he only plays 18 minutes a game. He's averaging 10 points.
But
There
here's
are
the
guys
thing,
that
Mike.
Score way more.
You know, there's some players, and we've talked about this before with the Browns. We've talked about this with guys with the Guardians before. There are some players that, like, they're better. Like, Nick Chubb is better the more he plays, it feels like. There's a lot but there's other guys who are better the less they play.
Yeah.
You don't want to get them overexposed. Ty Jerome feels like that kind of player. Maybe that's unfair, but I feel like 18 minutes a night is good because he comes in with a ton of energy and he just lights it up.
So let me ask you this, McNuggets, because you know this answer. Knock on wood. Let's say Darius Garland got hurt and he rolled his ankle and missed a week. Would Ty Jerome become the starter, or would they put Donovan at the one and run another dude?
No, I think they put Ty at the starter. I mean, listen, the one thing with Ty right now, he's shooting 61 and 55%. When his numbers go back to what his career averages are around, or if they stay above that, but for his career, and I'm not trying to poo-poo, just giving you guys real.
How many games has he played, period, in the NBA?
171 games.
Okay, so he's played two seasons.
More than 2 full seasons.
Yeah,
for his
2
career, he's a 42% field goal shooter and a 33% three-point shooter.
Now, some guys get better. Obviously, his numbers are ridiculous.
So my point is, if he's not, Ty Jerome's playing out of his effing mind.
But it's not just the shooting.
But it's
everything he does out there is good.
Point. But if he's not shooting 50%, 60%, some of those shots and the floaters late in games that he's taking, if they're not going in, you're like, do you really want Ty Jerome taking that when you have other guys on the court? But now, yes. In the future, we don't know.
But here's the thing, though, McNuggets. The reason that he is taking those shots and the offense is so effective is because he is taking that shot. Like, if you pack the game and say, okay, we only want 2 people shooting at the end of the game, and that's Donovan.
That's last year's team.
And so this year, what kills you is this: when the Warriors say they played like we did, like they beat us like a drum, like we used to beat people. The Warriors didn't just beat you with Steph and Clay in them; it beat dudes like Iguodala,
Sean Livingston.
Yeah,
He
Livingston
was
was awesome.
killing us.
and Barbosa. You're like, dog.
The Brazilian
Right.
Blur.
All we needed is a stop right here. Barbosa puts it in.
They
I'm
had
like,
more,
shut
they
up.
had more buckets.
Don't
The
you
big
guys-
center coming on hitting Trey.
Don't you guys feel like whoever the Cavs put in there right now, you expect them to play well?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? Every player they put in there,
Right.
I expect them to play well.
Watch that game last night. Donovan Mitchell went off in the first half. He had 25. They come back in the third quarter. They down 9.
Yeah.
Atkinson just puts in all the let me
He was
just
5 bench guys.
5 bench guys.
19-7 run.
I know.
and led by Ty Jerome taking the ball from people, swinging it around, hitting jumpers. And here's the thing that really got me too. This just not offensively. Take a look at the people that are playing out of their minds defensively.
Yeah.
Sam Merrill is a liability on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should be getting switched off the pick and roll and just taken all the way down under the
Yeah.
bucket and getting laid away.
Yeah.
But guess what? He's playing solid defense. You look at Karis LeVert, who's playing good defense. Ty Jerome is taking the ball away from people.
Which is
Yeah.
it's crazy because that was JB's whole thing.
That was
Yeah.
his-
Play hard. We're going to play defense for 82 games.
Yeah.
Hard defense for 82 games. And guys was gassed in the playoffs. But we thought they would take a step back with Kenny because they'd be so focused on offense, and that's
Yeah.
not the case.
No.
Everybody stepped. Like last year, the only guy we thought defensively, you had Jared and Evan,
Yeah.
and you had Isaac Okoro. That was
Right.
it. That was the only people that you thought was playing great defense.
The team is playing with a confidence level like 100 out of 100.
Higher.
Right? I mean,
Higher.
everybody believes in everybody, it seems. And obviously Kenny Atkinson deserves a ton of credit, but there's a lot of credit to go around. Donovan Mitchell, as the alpha on this team, has basically said, I don't worry about what I got to do. For the team to be better, I got to build everybody else up. And a lot of superstars will not do that, and he is a great superstar and a great leader. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Evan Mobley is a completely different ball player right now.
Yeah.
Completely.
He's completely different. It was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I don't know what's this guy. He plays with no fear. He kind of played offense. It was like he was soft for 3 years on offense, and now all of a sudden he's not afraid of anything.
And because I hate to keep going back to the coaching, but a lot of what players do is based on what is expected of them and what are you drawing up for them and what are you saying, this is why I need you to attack. If you got somebody who only tells you to sit under the basket and wait for the ball and get putbacks, that's the type of the game they're going to work on. I remember my dad used to always tell me, I was big as I am today, and I was playing defensive tackle, right? And my dad was like, oh, no, you ain't playing defensive tackle. I said, what you mean? He said, listen, you got one chance to make this correct. When you go from freshman to sophomore year, what I want you to do, when they come out there and practice, you walk right over to the defensive end pile. And I said, well, Dad, what you mean? How am I going to walk over there? He said, you think the varsity coaches came to all the freshman games? They don't even know who you is. They don't know what you played last year. I said, you know what, you're right. Let me go to the defensive end. I had dudes, my man Antonio Hall, he was playing defensive tackle. He said, G. Bush. He played tackle. You supposed to be over there with us. What you doing? Nah, bro, I ain't hear you. I'm over on the outside. See, what my dad knew was, yeah, you got good size to be a defensive tackle, but if you want to play in college, you know how great that's huge size. He's like, you don't even got to be that good. You 6'5", 270 already in high school. That's elite size. Yeah. You could be trash and make it. So, long story short, he was right. Like, it worked out.
You was trash and made it?
No, I was I was trash at first. But then, it all just came together. But like Evan Mobley, when they telling him, nah, man, we don't wait for Darius Garland. Get that ball and go up the court. That's what we need you to do.
Yeah.
Then he worked on that in the offseason, and that's who he is now. Think about it. They playing like this in 12 games. What happens when they continue to play like that throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, I got a question for you. Remember that dude that was trying to get the head coaching Cavs job? He was with Donovan in Utah.
He's on their coaching staff.
He is on the coaching staff?
He's a top assistant.
That's
correct.
what I thought. I just looked at that and was like, is that dude?
Is that the dude?
Yeah.
And he came from he was
Johnny
with the Knicks last
Johnny
year.
Bryant?
Johnny Bryant.
He was with the Knicks last year.
Correct. And he,
Dude, listen, it's so early in the season that you don't know if you can keep it up the whole way. But
It's fun to
That's crazy.
You cannot have a better start to a season than they have. I mean, there's nothing not to like. And by the way, I said the Bulls are a bad team. I don't think they're that awful.
No, they
got some that Kobe White's a good player.
Kobe White
always gets us.
He always plays hard against us.
I don't know how he plays
why.
with that big an afro. I don't understand how he can play. That's so much
Don't he
hair.
ponytail it up?
He better not.
No.
He better not never go to jail, bro. Leave that. Listen, you cannot have all that long hair.
That is crazy. He's got so much hair.
Hey, one last thing on Atkinson last night. Then we're going to talk about Darius Garland in the context of the Eastern Conference. For him to put out that all-bench lineup last night, when he did, and have it work and spark a run. The dude's a mad scientist right now. And there are going to be times throughout the season where he may put out a lineup that makes no sense on paper, and it may not work. Last night it worked to perfection. You have to kind of go through the growing pains of seeing, hey, because he said after the game, we needed a spark. I needed to do something different that we hadn't done yet because our guys were flat, and you could tell playing 12 games in 20 days.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys are tired.
A lot of shots were short.
Exactly.
In the third quarter especially.
Later in the season, if there's a game, if they lose a random Tuesday night, I mean, they're going 82-0. So in the weird off situation, they do lose a random game. Maybe that back-to-back in March against Phoenix and Sacramento we were talking about. And he throws out the all-bench lineup again, and it doesn't work. Let's have a little patience and not kill him. Because people are going to jump down and be like, what are you doing, Kenny?
Jay Crawford will be first on that list.
So you have to be patient in the regular season, try some things. Last night it worked to perfection, and that's why you have to be like, okay, give a little here, give a little there. It's going to work some nights. It's not, but now you have confidence to go back to that lineup again in another game later in the season that you don't have unless you try it in the first place.
I mean, you think about it, their key players in the comeback were Ty Jerome, Niang, and LeVert. Those were the guys, right, that really...
What's the name? George Niang turned himself into Skinny Boo.
I mean, he's playing well. We haven't talked about him.
As well as Kenny's done with Evan and Darius and the Stars, I think you can make a case that the most impressive coaching feat, he's got Karras playing, maybe as good as he's ever played. Ty Jerome is evolved into the best version of Ty Jerome. George Niang went from, we don't want him in the game, to he's now a crucial piece. Dean Wade, all the bench contributors have come in and played flawlessly, essentially.
And Strus hasn't even played yet. I mean,
what
are they going to need? At the trade deadline, they don't have much to trade. But what are you getting? An extra big guy for the bench? What are you getting?
We got my boy Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, they still need some size.
Tristan Thompson.
They could use what's his name, Morris again, right? A guy like that.
Where did he go?
To the crib?
No, he with somebody.
No, he signed.
Golden State, maybe.
Marcus Morris signed.
This is fun as hell. I haven't had this much. Because I've been
with the Knicks.
My interest in NBA has gone over, because I loved it when I was a kid, and over the years it's gone nothing but down every year until this year. I shouldn't say that. When LeBron was here, it was exciting and it was fun. But besides LeBron being back here, it's mostly been who cares? But this is so much fun with this winning streak.
Wait till they play the Celtics. I think it's a lot of people.
Tuesday, baby.
A lot of people is waiting to see what it looks like.
I know. I want them to be undefeated.
Is
Chris
Kristaps going to be back?
Is it at Boston?
It's in Boston on TNT. No Porzingis, but it should still be a.
Hey, man,
Jaylen Brown missed the last 2 games. Morris hasn't signed yet, by the way. He's still a free agent.
Oh, hey, listen.
Hey, G, let me get a reading because we got to get to Darius Garland because we do have to talk about Jed Wills as our one real Browns topic today. I want to make sure we get that before we bring on Mary Kay. So, guys, if you want to see the Cavs in person, they're at home on Friday, potentially going for 14-0. You better be using Game Time to get those tickets. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying your tickets online with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's Game Time.
By the way, this from Mike Polk. He says, tell Mikey that his beard makes him look like the TMZ mugshot of a grown-up child celebrity who has hit rock bottom. That's good.
Yeah, he nailed it.
That's good.
He nailed it. Hey, Earl, mark it for a social clip. I want to save that.
Hey, rock bottom. Like,
all right, guys, speaking of rock bottom, you could say in Darius's NBA career, last year was the proverbial rock bottom. This year he has climbed back out of it playing as well as playing. He was recently named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. And I know it's only 12 games in, but right now, Tyvis, that's your guy. Is he the best point guard in the Eastern Conference?
Is he the best point guard in the Eastern Conference? I tell you what,
right now.
The way he's playing at an unbelievable level. However, there is still, I think it's only about maybe off the top of my head 2 that I would consider taking over Darius right now that I think is playing at a decent level. And that is Trae Young and LaMelo Ball. I think those 2 are playing pretty well right now. But Darius, I mean, he's in the argument for me. Like, if somebody said they wanted to take Darius as the best, of course I'm not going to fight that. I mean, Darius is having some unbelievable moments. He's swinging the ball. He's finishing at the rim again. So, listen, I always said Darius reminded me of a watered down, maybe not watered down. Let me see. Let me see. He is like a tier. He like 2 tiers under a Kyrie Irving.
2 tiers.
About 2 tiers.
Damn. That's wild.
What?
2 tiers is a lot.
It's not a lot.
2 tiers is like the difference.
He got some Kyrie Irving.
He
ain't quite Kyrie. He ain't quite Kyrie.
It's a big difference.
But he do some things that reminds me of Kyrie. How about that?
2 tiers is still like, I mean,
right.
1 tier.
Okay, I'll take 1.
1 tier. There.
I go 1 tier on that.
He's not no one is dynamic as him dribbling the basketball.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
As great as Darius is playing, in my opinion, no, he's not the best point guard in the league right now. It's either SG.
No, it's in the East.
Oh, in the East.
In the East. Just the Eastern.
That's why I said,
right,
that's why I said Trae Young and LaMelo Ball.
That's right, because I was about to say SGA,
in
Kyrie,
the league,
and Steph
you
Curry.
It's not a question.
You got
of the
Brunson.
In the East?
Drew
I mean,
Holiday.
he's playing better than anybody. I was looking at the player efficiency ratings,
Good stat. I like PER.
and he's number 4 amongst point guards in the NBA behind SGA, Curry, and Kyrie. So
right now,
I'm going to go with him right now, this moment in time.
Right now in the East, yeah. He already played against Brunson. They beat them.
Now, Brunson's been a better player, obviously, but right now.
I get it. I mean, look
Right
at
now, Darius is
his
playing.
splits. His splits, he's shooting a higher percentage from 3 and field goal, same amount of assists. You know, Brunson gets maybe 1 more rebound in the game, but
He's scoring a little more.
Hey, but guess what? We undefeated. They
That's
not.
right.
So
What's the minutes? Brunson probably playing more, right?
And,
More
and
minutes?
He playing more minutes than Darius probably.
Brunson's playing 35 minutes a game. If you're going off numbers,
Yeah.
if you want numbers, Steve,
Yeah.
pull up the LaMelo Ball DG comparison. It's 3-4-3. If you're going just numbers this year, LaMelo Ball probably is the answer.
What's LaMelo?
Thank you.
What's their record?
Not good, which is why numbers don't matter.
Well, they matter, but they're not the only thing that matters.
Darius is playing at a higher – well, LaMelo's having a great season. I still think Darius is better than LaMelo. But if you're going off just the numbers like G was saying down the line, LaMelo's the answer,
if you go but Jalen
he's not-
Brunson's stats are better too. I mean,
come on, man. Like,
but I right now Darius's play is leading to win.
Up there. Trae Young got to be averaging
You
like
got
20.
341, Steve. 341.
He got to be averaging like 20 and 9.
We made these comparisons for all the good point guards in the East. So we got 341 when you're ready. No, he's only averaging 23 and a half. He's having his worst shooting year ever, Ty. Look at those shooting splits.
He averaging a double-double, though.
Those shooting splits, though.
He averaging a double-double, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He got the same beard Mikey got, and he's shooting way less.
I would never shoot like that, trust me.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this, man. No, he's this not even close, really. Like he's playing the best. He's playing the best basketball. Like LaMelo is a person that he's the most likely in his yearbook to never win a championship.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah, and the reason why, like, the numbers don't matter that much because if Darius was switch places with LaMelo, Darius would be scoring 29
I'm not
a
making
game.
the point for LaMelo. I was just saying if you
I would take
your box,
yes
I would take
right
Darius,
now.
Yeah.
If the question is he the best point guard in the East right now?
Yeah.
My answer is yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're biased.
I agree.
But,
It's not even that difficult.
which is hard to believe because he was probably not in the top 10 in the East last year.
Here's the other part of it that we haven't got to. Darius in the clutch this season has been arguably the most clutch player in basketball. He's second in the NBA in total points in the clutch behind just Jason Tatum, who's played one more
What's
game.
defined as clutch?
The last 5 minutes of a game within 5 points.
Okay.
So it has to be fourth quarter. As soon as the game goes to 6 points, it's not clutch until it gets back into 5 points. So it's
Gotcha.
only in those legitimate clutch situations. He's shooting 79% in clutch scoring situations this year. He's second overall in scoring, and he's 6 of 10 from 3 in those situations.
What, 79%? How many shots?
He's like 8 of 13 or something like that,
Oh.
or whatever. I forget the exact. I'll pull it up in a sec.
I mean,
He's the most efficient.
So it's not enough
and
of a sample size to this point in the season.
We all
They've played 5 games
Yeah,
that
right,
fit
right.
that category.
Yeah.
However, when he has had those opportunities, he's been as
come
good as
through.
any player. In
Yeah, the guy's been fantastic.
Well, what gets me is that everybody seems so shocked by this. When I said this last year, I found it very hard to believe that a guy who everybody rant and raved from saying he was going to be the next star, and he went to where he was last year in the playoffs because it was terrible. Like
It was trash.
there was no way that
Yeah,
that guy that was
Right.
up to this regard can't come back like that.
Well, but
there's
part
no
of the
way.
reason we may have thought that is because it was who he was playing with. Maybe it wasn't the right fit. Obviously, that's not the case. But even if you thought he'd bounce back, which I think we all thought he'd bounce back at least to some degree, you didn't think he played this well. I mean, he's playing at an all-star level here.
I think
I did.
Well, excuse me, Ty.
Well, listen, listen. Jason thought Andre Jimenez was going to start hitting the ball again. That didn't happen. He can't be this bad 2 years ago. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, he is.
By the way, he's 11 of 14 in clutch situations this year,
Yeah, that's
The
ridiculous.
scary thing about the Cavs
with
is
5 assists and only 1 turnover.
scary thing about the Cavs is, okay, they haven't all just been killing it. Donovan Mitchell for the first half of the year didn't have no crazy explosions. You got
Balls.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Outburst, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There we go with that. Jared Allen has slumped a little bit in the last couple of games.
Yeah.
You have guys missing games like Karis LeVert and Dean Wade missed games, so they've been in and out of the lineup. But they've still found a consistent way to win these games, and they don't even have everything moving and going at the same time.
Right, and Max
now.
Strus hasn't played.
Max
who
Strus
was
hasn't
one of the,
played.
was one of their better players.
The good
last
news
year.
is they've won in every aspect. They've blown people out.
Yeah.
They've came back. They was down by a lot, came back and won those games. They
Yeah.
won in crunch time situations. So it's like this team faced adversity, and they found a way to overcome the adversity early on in the
Right.
season, which obviously just going to make them a better team moving forward.
And they've just built confidence. Like every player on the team feels confident. And so when he goes to the whole bench lineup, those guys are like, damn right we can do this.
Do you think, and now you go back and look at it last year, when the organization said, hey, we're going to lose these games at the end of the year. Could you even imagine this team doing that? Remember last year they lost at the end
To be a lower seed. Yeah.
Can you even imagine?
No.
Like
That's such a loser mentality.
that stuff carries over. That stuff kind of
That's right.
matters, man. And now you see to a point where it's a nice little story, and people is, oh, this is.
Yeah.
But after you start getting to 15, 16, if you get there, or if you continue to stretch that out, or if you lose a game and then you go on another 9-10 winning streak in a row,
yeah.
people going to start to wake up and look around and be like, I don't see why they couldn't win no championship.
I got a friend who texted me. He's a big basketball fan. He texted me today, and he goes, you think this is the beginning of a dynasty? I'm like, we got to slow it down a little bit. But yeah, that's how excited people are right now.
Because remember, like the Nuggets a couple of years ago, how they kind of came out of nowhere and were like, man, they're moving the basketball crazy. It's like you can't really stop them like that. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where you look at the way the Cavs is playing basketball. This translates if they can make hard. See, they have to have a commitment to it so it becomes second nature. So even when you're down or you're not shooting the ball well, you still trust in I'm gonna move the ball and this system's gonna work.
100%.
So if you could build those habits now, you could go to the playoffs and it's going to be a problem because the bad teams are going to revert to hero ball.
That's right.
Get the ball to so-and-so and move out the way. That don't work.
The Cavs' ball movement has been, again, 100 out of 100. They move the ball no matter who has it. It's almost irrelevant who takes the final shot. It's like, let's keep moving it until we get a good shot. How many times this year, have you seen a Cavs player take a shot and be like, it's not a good shot?
Not a lot.
Like, I feel like in the past, you didn't
four
see that.
times a game. And in the past, it would happen 20 times.
Yeah,
and not
I mean,
just
it's
the Cavs,
crazy.
but around the league. Every
But it's a good point, G. I think the key, obviously, is health. That's the obvious one for every team. But if this is who Evan Mobley is now, the Cavs absolutely can win a championship, right? Like, if he's this guy, if this is not just an anomaly, which at this point I think it's deep enough into the season that I think we're all feel like comfortable in saying it's not. If this is who he is, then it feels like they can beat anybody.
Well, they was plus 900 to win championship yesterday. So
Hope you bet a couple. Yeah, they were still. I think they're still tied for 8th in terms of
depends on
odds
the
of winning the
sports book,
championship.
but give or
3rd in the
take.
East. I don't know why they'd be behind the Knicks right now. You'd think that would have flipped. I can understand them being behind the Celtics.
It's it's betting trends. It's not how they actually feel. It's how they think people.
That's
feel.
true. Right.
Just to clean up before we pivot to Jed Wills real quick on a few stats. Bull, the Cavs currently 5th in the NBA in team assists per game, less than 2 behind Denver, who's number 1. In terms of the clutch stats, just to give you a little more context on Darius, he's tied for 3rd most field goal makes in these clutch situations.
Yeah.
The guys ahead of him, DeRozan, who has 13, Darius has 11. DeRozan's taking 24 shots.
Yeah.
Durant, who has 12, is taking 19 shots. Jokic has 12. He's taking 21 shots. Darius, 11 on 14.
Yeah.
He's 3 of 5 from 3, and his 5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio is the best of any point guard in the NBA in these clutch moments.
Do the Cavs as a team have the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the league?
Let's see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, if you
in
can find
one
that.
sec.
They got it.
I'll get back to that stat. Let me,
All
let
right,
me
you would
do some-
think, right, that they have the best assist-to-turnover
Cavs
ratio?
is plus 1,900 on FanDuel.
Who is?
Cavs is plus 1,900
I mean,
to win the championship.
that's worth throwing a few dollars on. They
is.
probably were. What were they at the beginning of the season? Even way higher than that.
27-1. So
So if I throw 100 on that, what I get back?
1,900. $1,900.
while you guys use FanDuel
Yeah.
to make that bet, let me tell you about a new app that can take your football experience to another level. Our sponsor, Ultimate Pro Football GM, has back with a brand new amazing game mode we got to tell you guys about. The game that, as you step into the shoes of a football franchise's general manager and lead it to glory, now has a new head coach career mode. So on top of getting to build your dynasty by drafting players, signing free agents, and hiring a coaching staff, now you also get to call offensive plays during the games. Additionally, you'll dig up new tools you can work with, such as individual training camps and upgraded negotiation systems. So this fun and realistic game just got even better. If you have already installed it, be sure to do an update so you can try out the new mode. If you don't have it yet, download it right now. It's a must-have for all football fans. I love it. I know you will too. Ultimate Pro Football GM is completely free, has no ads, and 100% playable offline. Play as you go, as you want, when you want to. And here's a special offer for all UCSS fans. Use promo code LOCKEDONNFL in all caps inside the game store and receive a free boost to start your franchise off with. Make sure you get it, as the perk will jumpstart your play and give you the advantage you'll want in creating a dynasty. Download the game by going to ultimate-gm.com or look it up in the App Store. Ultimate Pro Football GM. Start your dynasty today. We have to address the Jed Wills comments from yesterday. And we're going to play it in whole so there's no confusion on exactly what was said, the context of what was said, the tone of which it was said with. And this video comes from Daryl Ryder of 92.3 The Fan, who graciously shared this with us. So
Dangerous Daryl Ryder.
I like Daryl.
But his nickname is Dangerous.
Oh, Dangerous. I didn't realize his Twitter handle was Right or Wrong, FAN, until this morning. So shout out to Daryl for sending us this video.
You know why Daryl's nickname is Dangerous?
No.
Took Bull out.
We collided on the basketball court 12 years ago. The last time I played basketball.
Are you serious?
In May of 2012, and I tore my Achilles.
He's the reason you tore your Achilles?
Well, I jokingly blame him. It was already. I learned it was already slightly torn before that, and then just our legs bumping was the final straw.
Well.
And by the way, I outweigh him by like 200 pounds.
So we'll call him Daryl, Destroyer of Achilles, sharer of videos.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Daryl, for letting us use this video. Here you go.
It was pretty shocking. I mean, I decided myself that I made a business decision not to play after the Bengals game, going into that Ravens game, because I was injured. And then the next week is when I received the news. So, I mean, I got hyperextended on the very first play. I kind of felt it, but we were going up on the ball, and everybody was getting set. So I was like, well, I'll stay in if it hurts later, and I got to come out. That is what it is. But I ended up finishing the game. the next day I got some treatment and stuff, and my knee was really swollen. I couldn't really bend it, so played out the week how it went. I wasn't ready for game time, so I didn't end up playing. Early on in the week, it was just more kind of like they evaluated what it was. I had a lot of fluid in there. I had to get drained. I had some swelling. I had some damage to my cartilage, and I have a bone bruise that I've been dealing with since last year. So they just kind of evaluated it. I didn't practice the first 2 days that were full speed, and then we had a padded practice. I didn't practice. I tried to do some stuff on the Friday. Didn't feel good. And then they just declared me as inactive after that Friday practice. I think upset isn't a good word to use. I would say it's more frustrating, but I mean, it's not my decision. I mean, I can only do what I can do. So, and there really wasn't enough time. It was more just because we were getting ready for that Baltimore game that week, or not the Baltimore game. The Chargers game. So it was more like being ready to play, if anything. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to go out there and put forth, 70% of your effort while you're injured, and then you have somebody else who go out there and give 100. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be out there the whole time, like, thinking about my knee. I got to focus on my assignment and who I'm blocking. So, like you said, in the past with high ankles, I played, and I didn't play at, risking a worse knee injury.
So what do you do with Jed Wills after that, guys? What do you do?
It's hard. I can't really kill him for that.
Yeah, I'm about to say that whole thing got blown up because one, I don't think he knows.
Shouldn't have said it that
He don't
way.
know what a business decision really is. That's first
Yeah.
of all. There's a difference between like I can't be myself,
Right.
and business decision means that dude is gonna kill me. I'm not 100%, and I'm not going out there to make myself look bad because I'm trying to make some money for my next team. That's a business decision.
That's what he just said.
No. He's hurt. Like he literally said he had like damage to his knee and he can't bend his knee. When you can't go out there, like why would I put you out there? That makes no sense.
I don't know. I feel the same way as Tyvus. Listen, I've killed Jed Wills a number of times. I don't think he's that good a ball player, but to me, that's not like I don't want to play. I get it.
He said he didn't practice that week, and he said he had fluid in his knee. He said he couldn't even bend his knee.
And he gave us an honest answer. I'm not going to kill the guy for that. I don't know. You got a problem with it?
Well, listen, I'm not going to put nobody's threshold out there.
Yeah.
But
business decision was
business.
I don't think he knew what he was saying.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I know.
Business decisions was what he did when we was playing the Raiders and the Jaguars. That was the business.
But he been skating. This is exactly what I said he was doing the whole time. Like Jed Wills was like, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna play at 100%. I'm not 100%, so I'm not gonna play." And I got a contract that I got going on next year, and people is spot shadowing me being terrible and not blocking nobody and getting ran by. So I'm not about to put myself in that position, even though I might be okay enough to go play. By the way,
if he okay enough to go, there's a difference. First of all, we got to clarify a couple of things. There's a difference between being hurt and being injured. It's a huge difference. So, hurt means it's banged up, but I can make it through the game. Injured means I cannot do my assignment.
I've had two ACLs. I've torn my PCL. This is in both knees. I've had my knee drained over almost 200 times.
Jeez, I need to get mine drained.
It's one of the most nasty, disgusting, but I used to get it drained before the game and after the game, right? And you know what the rule is in college. You got to be playing by Wednesday.
Yeah, you got to at least practice by Wednesday. No, it's Friday. You got to do the Friday practice.
Hey, they wasn't giving us that. They say you got to be ready to go by Wednesday. You got 2 days. So guess what?
Well, it's different.
Yeah, it's Hey, these military coaches like we play in the MAC. Ain't nobody watching this. We got different rules down here. Now, if you at Ohio State and you the man, they go, get your money off. But my thing is like this with Jed Wills. Jed Wills, and I've said this from Jump Street, and I was frustrated when people used to say that. From lineman to lineman, I know when I look at somebody and be like, I want to go against him. Let me get him.
He food, huh?
Let me get him.
That's food.
He's the guy. His facial expressions, he quits on plays in the middle of the play. When you quit on plays, that's an indictment of your football want to. Like
I agree with that
He
statement.
did it multiple times.
I do agree.
And that's why I used to get mad at people trying to tell me, no, it's just the fact that he's not Joe Thomas. No, it's the fact that you don't know what you're looking at.
I agree with that too.
You don't know what you're looking at. I get that people watch the football. I know. My brother himself says, listen, he need to take that jersey off, bro. I said, dang, Bryson, what's going on? I'm an offensive lineman. That's unacceptable. You don't stand there and quit and you seeing your guys get off the ground and they getting pounded and get beat up and you just looking around. And then the nail in the coffin was when he did the Olay, got this thing, and guys is running past him. He was done in Cleveland as far as I'm concerned.
And that's fine.
Finished.
I think it's fair to be critical of him and still be like I don't have a problem with what he said, but I don't want him back as with the Browns.
Let's clarify that right now.
Yeah.
His days in Cleveland.
does.
If you
1,000%.
If you hurt, I'm not going to get mad at nobody that's hurt.
But I think that people are taking this out of context. I do think that.
So you would not cut him like a lot of people on
No,
social media?
I wouldn't cut him. I wouldn't cut him because he makes. It's a lot of sense. Like first of all, he's bad at 100%. So him at 70% is even worse. So if it's another guy that could go in there that could be better, then why would I not? We got to do what's best for the team.
We got a lot of Baker bros out there who killed the team for Baker playing when he was not 100%.
Yeah.
And he should have rested. Then you can't kill this player for saying, "Hey, I'm not able to go."
I'm not. Listen, I'm not going to his heart. You know, to me, I don't take no personal shots of people. I just talk about what you'll play. If he's hurt and he feel like he can't go out there and play, then that is what it is. But for the organization, I'm not faulting them for saying, well, look, we got to go in another direction because we need guys that's ready to go.
I think everybody did what was best for
Well,
them.
DeJuan Jones playing left tackle makes sense because Jed's not going to be here next year. DeJuan is. So,
Exactly.
Well, here's what I will say.
Yeah.
AAB, this looks terrible.
Is this his only first round pick?
This is we sitting here talking about
Newsome.
Look, we sitting here talking about these first round picks that we can get for people.
Yeah.
And you done swung and missed on two dudes.
Whoa.
Greg Newsome is a swing and a miss.
Is he really?
Oh, I definitely swing.
Well, think about this.
First of all, wait a minute, because we did this exercise. The people that was taken after him
Strike
wasn't
three.
great either.
Greg Newsome.
He what?
At 24.
Am I wrong, McNuggets? Didn't we do that exercise? That anybody?
You want the Newsome draft?
Yeah.
What year was that? What year was that
21?
draft?
20? 21? 20.
It was a 2021 NFL draft.
Who was it?
All right.
Anybody?
The picks after Newsome in the first round: Rashad Bateman, Peyton Turner,
He's been coming on all of a sudden lately, but he hasn't been good.
Eric Stokes, Gregory Rousseau, Odafe Oye.
Rousseau.
That's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Owe is coming on lately.
And Joe Tyron Shoninka, who I've never heard of in my life.
You got our boy Elijah Moore,
I rest my case.
Javonte Williams.
Ain't no rest your
I
case.
rest my case.
Here's
What are you talking about?
Here's what you do.
You would take
No.
Genu over all
Well,
of them.
guess what? What I can do is I can either trade back or
Oh,
trade
my
up.
goodness.
What are you talking about? If I don't like what I see, I'm trading up or trading back.
You needed another corner at the time.
This is a
Hold
first.
on,
Isn't-
they could have took it. Tyson Campbell. was
Isn't
the first pick in the second
Asante
round.
Samuel a really good
Right?
player?
You say what?
Asante Samuel Jr.?
Yeah.
Tyson
He's
Campbell,
decent.
who got
Tyson
a bag
Campbell
this
is
summer.
good.
Yes. Okay.
He
Tyson
was the
Campbell's
first
good.
pick of the
He
second
was the
round.
33rd pick. He could have
I'm just-
taken Tyson Campbell.
I was talking about in the first round.
That means the other draft.
It's a
I was just talking first round picks.
Here's the bottom line.
Come on, man. That ain't gonna get it done.
Andrew
If that's
Berry.
the case, everybody missed on Puka Nakua in the 5th round.
Yeah.
He should have been the first round. He should have been the first player in
Andrew
the
Berry
draft.
has had 5 first-round picks. He's used them on Deshaun Watson, Jedrick Wills,
And Greg Newsome.
None worth a
That's a
first-round
fact.
pick.
That is a fact.
That's on him. He's the GM of the team.
I mean, in Jed Wills,
Who was the one that-
Tristan Wirfs is a all
Yeah, they blew that.
pro.
They blew
Like
that.
2-6. Like this guy, you can't get a bag of candy corn that's 15% off over at the old fireworks store. You can't get nothing. You can't get nothing. If you rolled out, think about this. If you rolled out and said what you could get for Greg Newsome and Jed Wills, you're dealing with it. You might get a 6th or 7th for both of them.
Players the Browns could have taken at 10.
Wait a minute. Wait, this is
Tristan Wirfs,
oh, this
crazy.
Is, okay.
C.D. Lamb,
Crazy.
AJ Terrell, who's a really good
Crazy.
Justin Jefferson,
Crazy.
Brandon Ayuk,
Stop.
Jordan Love, Patrick Queen, All first round picks after Jed Wills.
Get out of here! Get out of here, man! This is unacceptable.
Andrew Berry's worse than I thought, man.
They misassessed.
Oh my
the talent.
God.
What's wrong?
They misassessed.
What's wrong?
He said this is unacceptable.
Just say them names again. Say it one more
All
time.
right, here we go.
There's
You ready?
a lot of names, boy.
These are the picks
They got
that went
some
after
names
him in the
on
first
this
round.
mug.
Tristan Wirfs, AJ Terrell, CD Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Love, Patrick Queen. Isn't Jordan Brooks a good player too?
He's a great tackler.
Yeah.
This hurts my heart.
But this the thing, though. Can we be?
By the way, throw in these guys at the top of the second round: T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, DeAndre Swift,
Can you be fair about this?
Jonathan Taylor.
Wait a minute. Let's be fair about this.
Yeah.
When that draft happened, you had just lost Joe Thomas. You had
They could have taken Tristan Wirfs.
you had
I
Odell.
couldn't breathe.
You had Jarvis.
I can't breathe.
Didn't you have Odell in 2020? I'm pretty sure you
Yeah.
did.
Breathe, big fella.
You had
breathe.
Jarvis. You had Odell. You had Baker.
It's okay.
You had Nick Chubb.
You're going to be okay.
I mean,
You gonna be
you
all
had
right.
Miles Garrett, you had Denzel Ward, so like a lot of them people, like they wasn't gonna take anyway, especially the receivers, because they just thought they hit it with Odell and Jarvis.
If you want to feel even,
The second round?
well, no. But I was saying the Lions took Jeff Okudah third that draft.
Go Bucks!
Yeah, he sucks.
He's been
I'm back.
an atrocity.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah, but they're a Super
Wait a
Bowl
minute.
contender.
Wait a
sorry.
minute.
But I'm saying that so you can overcome a bad draft pick.
He has not lived
sorry.
up to
Well,
what he was supposed to do.
The Niners
That's
traded up for Trey Lance. Look where that. By the way, in the second round, Browns took Grant Delpit. They could have taken Antoine Winfield Jr. They could have taken Trevon Diggs. They could have taken Jalen Hurts. They could have taken. Well, that's about it.
We got Mary Kay, and Mary Kay was at the media availability with Jed Wills yesterday, so I'm curious to see what her thoughts on the situation. We'll bring Mary Kay in after a quick word from FanDuel. Get ready to tackle all the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out all the latest stats, the live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Mary Kay, we were just talking about Jed Wills' comments yesterday saying he made a business decision to sit out against Baltimore. You were there as Jed Wills was talking to the media in the scrum. What'd you take away from Jed Wills' comments, and do you think he knew what he meant when he said business decision?
I think he did know what he meant. He was very adamant about the fact that he made this decision. This was of his own volition. This is what he wanted to say. This is what he wanted to do. And he was adamant about the fact that he was not going to play hurt, that he doesn't think that's good for anyone. He felt that maybe he was about 70% heading into that game and that someone else would have given them a better chance to win at that position. Now, having said that, he probably didn't understand the ramifications or the repercussions of saying something like that, because you never, ever hear a player saying that he made a business decision not to play. Sometimes we know they make a business decision not to play for one reason or another, but nobody ever actually comes right out and admits it. But I think Jed has gotten to the point right now in his Cleveland Browns career where he sees the writing on the wall. He basically said that he wants to be somewhere where he's wanted. I don't know that he feels wanted here anymore. And I think he's just reached a point of frustration, and he was ready to let it out.
You know what's funny, though, and is that the owners make business decisions every day, and we never complain about that. But a player says he makes a business decision, we get all up in arms. Mary Kay, we were just talking about Andrew Berry's, had 5 drafts that he's been in charge of. And with those first-round picks, he's taken Jed Wills, who's a bust, Greg Newsome, who's mediocre, and used the other 3 for the worst quarterback in America. How does he keep his job, and how would we trust him to make the picks in this year's draft?
Well, up to this point, up to this year, they had made the playoffs twice. They won 11 games twice in his regime. And Kevin Stefanski has won NFL Coach of the Year twice. So there really wasn't all that much to argue with about until you get to this year. Now they're springing leaks here and there, and nothing really went right this year, and they've got a lot to fix. So, now you're looking at the draft picks and you're realizing, okay, maybe this didn't go so well or that didn't go so well. But I think up to this point, you can say that they've done a really nice job. Even when a draft pick hasn't worked out, they've made up for it in one way or another. Even with the 3 picks used on Deshaun Watson, they went out and they were able to get guys that were almost playing at a first round level that they got in later rounds, such as DeJuan Jones and Martin Emerson Jr. Now this year, that's not happening as much, so that is also amplified or magnified. They've got a lot of making up to do for the things that have gone on this year.
Mary Kay, the Browns are coming off of a bye week. Obviously, they had time to self-reflect, self-scout, do all those things. What do you think is going to be a major change, or do you think there is any major changes that we see this Sunday coming off of the bye week?
No, I don't think there are any major changes to be made because we already know that they're sticking with Jameis Winston at quarterback. So that's that. Unless he continues to throw pick after pick after pick, then he's going to earn a trip over to the sidelines next to Kevin Stefanski, and we will see Dorian Thompson-Robinson, maybe even Bailey Zappi at some point. So that's a big one there. And then really there aren't any other major changes that they can make. They already traded away Amari Cooper. They already traded away Darius Smith. The things that we are going to see that will be a little bit different will be, once again, more DeJuan Jones at left tackle and see if he can become the left tackle of the future. You'll see maybe some young receivers will get a little bit of an opportunity. I think maybe we'll see Jamari Thrash at some point. I think that we'll be able to take a look at Isaiah McGuire at end and see how he'll do over there. So these are some of the things, but there aren't major changes that can be made. One of the things that I've been harping on a little bit is the fact that they need to get some interceptions. And they need to get them from their defensive backs. They only have 1 interception this whole entire season. That is last in the NFL, tied with the Giants for 1 in the NFL this season. And that one came from JOK. So certainly somebody else has got to be able to get an interception on this football team. So I think that's one of the things that they need to try to emphasize because you need those big plays from your defensive backs. And I think the other thing is you want to see guys step up that were supposed to have bigger seasons than they have, like the Martin Emersons of the world.
Mary Kay, I just had a meltdown a little bit ago.
Oh man! But it was you overreacted. You really did,
man. Listen, to hear some of them names,
you gotta Mary Kay. When you explain to him that in certain drafts, they draft off a position need. What do you need?
What I done heard people say for my whole life.
Joe Thomas had just retired.
Hey man, listen, I get it, man. But when you start to see telling you, I'm here, Justin
Trenton.
I hear that
2 picks later.
I hear that one. I ain't got no argument. But the rest of the names,
when you talk about Justin Jefferson and C,
they had Odell. They had Odell,
and they got rid of Odell. My question is, that's what I'm saying. Every person that comes to the Browns through free agency seems to be excited to leave.
That's true.
Odell Beckham, get me out of here. Jarvis, Jadeveon Clowney, Zadarius Smith, Juan Thornhill, John Johnson.
Juan Thornhill's not even gone yet.
Why are all these people? They get here 2 seconds. They be like, get me up out. Like this is crazy to me. It's every free agent. It just seems like it's a breath of fresh air. They turn to the Lord. They find a higher power, and then they play better. Mary Kay, talk me off the ledge. I'm just saying they excited. He's talking about shaking my head. He's excited, Mary Kay. This is crazy.
I actually think that a lot of free agents have come through here and they've done pretty well here, and some of them have revived their careers here. I mean, even Zadarius Smith, I feel like we kind of turned him into a little bit of a star here. The way that I watched him, in the media over the past couple of days, he sort of put himself back on the map by being here and being on a team with Myles Garrett and doing well this year. So I actually think a number of free agents come through here, things go pretty well for them. The ones that you're talking about are the ones that sort of stand out because they don't work out all the time. But for the most part, I think it's gone pretty well. The Jacoby Brissetts and guys like that.
Man, Mary Kay, that is a crazy stat. I didn't remember, by the way, that you gave before. So the Browns don't have Cam Jordan, defensive lineman from the Saints, has more interceptions than the entire Browns secondary.
Wow.
But we did it last week when we did the fake.
Well, I forgot,
stat.
Mike.
Yeah.
I forgot. Mary Kay reminded us. That is mind-blowing.
We got a lot of drop
This
picks,
was supposed
too.
to be a special defense, and they have one interception from a linebacker. That's just insane.
Yes, it's mind-boggling. And we've seen them drop a bunch of them, right?
Yeah.
Now, Denzel Ward leads the NFL with 14 pass breakups, and some of those have ended up in his hands that he should have actually caught. And maybe that will turn around. Sometimes they come in bunches. But certainly, this is a defensive backfield full of talented guys. Martin Emerson, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Grant Delpit, Juan Thornhill. No one has an interception yet this season. So they've got to get that turned around. I definitely think it should be a point of emphasis. You don't want to do that to the detriment of the team or the play, but certainly there's got to be some picks out there for them. Now, speaking of picks, and we talked about this already, that Jameis Winston has to cut down on them, but the Saints are 4th in the NFL with 12 of them this season. So not a really good week to try not to be throwing picks.
I think Denzel Ward went to the Tyvis Powell School of Catching the Football.
He slid that one in there. That was wild. He slid that in there amongst the whole chaos.
I'm not even going to
Not even going to acknowledge that.
Mary Kay, Mary Kay, give me one player that you think breaks out in the rest of this season for the Cleveland Browns. One player you looking at.
Well, I don't know if these two players will actually break out or not, but there are two players that I would like to see a little bit about what they can do in the final 8 games. One of those players is Jamari Thrash. We haven't seen any of Jamari Thrash yet. He's always inactive, and I think now is the time to see what he's all about and what he can do. And then Isaiah McGuire. Let's throw Isaiah McGuire in there a bunch more and see if he can't get some pressure off the edge, some sacks off the edge. Myles Garrett is going to need some of these guys to step up and take some pressure away from him, because Za'Darius was certainly able to do that. He was leading in sacks before the Chargers game. So some of these guys are going to need to get out there and really do some great things to make sure that Myles isn't getting double team, triple team every single play like he usually does. There's another one. Mike Hall, I think, has played really well already. And I think there's a lot of good football in him to be played over these last 8 games. So he's another. And then Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I still want to see what more there is to Dorian Thompson-Robinson that perhaps we haven't seen yet. And they have big decisions to make in that quarterback room.
Mary Kay at his press conference, I believe it was Monday, Kevin Stefanski said, our priority is still win, 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 win. 1 through 100, we're trying to win 100 out of 100 games. Do you believe that's in the best interest of this team's long-term future, is to still go out and try and win every single one of these games if it does cost you a high draft pick?
I think so. I think that this is a football team that is not in tank mode. And if you're not tearing it down, you want to go out there and establish and continue that culture of winning. You don't want to get into a losing mindset. And I think that they're going to try to come back next year and get right back on the winning track. Nobody wants to go through a rebuild. Nobody wants to go through a teardown. You don't keep guys like Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, David Njoku, if you're doing some kind of a teardown. They need to get the quarterback right, and I think they need to continue winning. You never see Pittsburgh go into tank mode. They find a way to keep winning and playing good football, and I really think that's what the Browns need to do.
You're right, Mary Kay. That's a terrible question by Mike. What coach is going to want to lose? No coach wants to lose games.
Well, you don't come out and say you're going to lose games.
Good teams can draft good players no matter where they're picking. Unfortunately, the Browns haven't been one of those
we
teams.
just went over that, which
That's
is why
true. Yeah.
I had to bring it up.
Mary Kay, thanks. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, guys.
You got it.
That is Mary Kay. We have Aditi Kinkhabwala joining us about 15 minutes, so we'll get back to the Browns then. But we're going to go back to the Cavs. If you want to see The undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers play in person on Friday. You better be using Game Time Picks to get your tickets to their inaugural NBA Cup game of the season. It'll be the Crazy Court. So you want to see that bad boy in person? You better be using Game Time Picks to get your tickets. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With Game Time Picks, you get priority seating, all-in pricing, views from your seat, their lowest price guarantee, and their Game Time ticket coverage gives you the most flexible customer service policy in the entire online ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Bull, what time is it?
Game time.
Love you.
By the way, I need a Guardians minute at some point in the last 45 minutes of the show.
When we get done with Aditi, we can give you the Guardians minute. And if it's about Kate Smith, we're going to dive into that even more tomorrow.
It's not about Kate Smith.
Perfect.
What happened with Kate Smith?
I'll tell you after the show.
What, not being one of the 3 finals for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, which I want to talk about tomorrow. But we do have to talk about something a little more pressing right now, because although the Cavs are 12-0, and they are having an incredible start to the season, Jared Allen over the last 2 games has not been playing up to par. This is his total stats over the last 2 games.
Browns
13 points,
about Jared
8
Allen.
rebounds, and he's shooting 4 of 13 from the floor.
It says, should the Browns be concerned about Jared Allen?
Oh, that's a mistake on mine. Let me switch that.
Make
Cavs.
sure.
Update
I don't
live
think
on
the
air.
Browns should care.
There we go.
Browns
Sorry,
should not-
sorry. My apologies.
Now
ladies
you
and
just,
gentlemen.
there you go. This
My
is space.
apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Jared Allen in his last 2
Yeah.
games, 13 total points,
Yeah.
8 total rebounds for a player who shoots in his career 64% from the floor. He is 4 of 13 from the floor in his last 2 games, and he did not play the final 6 minutes of last night's game. They put Dean Wade in as the other big alongside Evan Mobley. It could just be tired legs after 12 games in 20 days. It could be some sort of minor injury. It could be something else. Are you guys concerned about Jared Allen and his lack of production and, frankly, lack of presence over the last 2 games for the Cavs?
Let me ask you this about the legs thing, because I could hold some weight, but when you look at him last year offensively compared to this offense, it is more movement on his body, because this is a guy who he played a good chunk of the season, right? He only missed like a handful of games.
He played 77 consecutive games last year.
Yeah,
Right.
so
And then he missed the rest.
yeah, so and he's been pretty productive. I'm a guess that he's dealing with something, some type of injury, and he doesn't want to come out because they got a good thing going, and he feels like his presence out there is better, especially on the rim protection side. Everybody still funnels to him. So I think that he's shifted to being more of the anchor, more defensively, and that's why we don't see the offensive production, because he is dealing with something. That would be my guess, because look at that. Let you see that.
If there's something he's working on, why not just sit him? If it's something he's dealing with, I'm not worried about it.
This to me is a nothing burger.
Yeah, nothing burger. I agree.
This is nothing burger with cheese on it. Because, when you got other people, there's only a certain amount of touches that go around.
I said we don't even notice it.
You got people like Evan Mobley initiating offenses. Ty Jerome is more aggressive initiating offense. We just talked about how Darius Garland is monster in the clutch. Donovan Mitchell, we talked about how this guy's a leader in the firm, but he's a guy who's a closer in this league. So if Jared Allen does not get his rim runs or lobs, we're not running very many plays for Jared Allen anyway.
No, he's just cleaning it up.
He's clean-up guy. He's going to run the floor. He's going to play good, solid defense.
He started off the season with 15, 17
But I'm with G. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's got a minor injury.
That's what I'm saying.
But even if he's fully healthy, I'm not worried about it. It's just, guys go through some slumps. He's going through a slump.
Maybe he's one of them. We don't need him until we need him.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything wrong with him, I don't know what. They should just sit him for, the next 2 games till Boston.
Who would be the backup? They probably go small ball, right?
Tristan Thompson theoretically is the backup center.
Yeah, but they don't need to use
They would go
Tristan.
Dean Wade or Niang and put Mobley at the 5.
And so, look, that's the luxury of having 2 rim protectors.
Yeah.
So, if they did sit him down, I don't think the Cavs miss anything. All you do is now go a little smaller. You still got Evan Mobley, and he's still going to be able to create. And for me, in games like this, when he's playing against Vujacic, that's a rough rider. That's one of the dudes. He gonna bang. He bangs down low. He's a big type dude. Like, those are the games that. And then think about
Who
it like
next game?
Philly.
But
No Embiid, though.
Embiid is not expected to play.
he played a lot.
Do they have a good big guy without him?
Is he?
Andre Drummond, who has historically
He's still
Oh
there.
man,
He killed
was his first year in Philly.
He kills.
I didn't know.
I
I meant still there, like still in the
20
league.
rebounds. Like
he
it
has
ain't.
historically
Take-
done very well against the Cavs.
Take
Yeah.
the over on
Man,
his board.
Andre-
I don't care what it is. Take the over.
We call him Bottoms McGee. Bottoms McGee. He like his lower half of his body is. I'm like, dang, you got tree
He
trunks
feels
for legs.
he always takes to do the Cavs like that because he feels disrespected that they moved off of him for Jared Allen. Because he was doing 2020 when he was here.
In his 3 games against
was
the
a good
Cavs
right call,
last
though.
season,
Very good call.
against the Cavs last season, 3 games, Drummond averaged 12 points, 17 rebounds, and 2 blocks.
Take the over.
Man, Bottoms McGee. He the one.
It's
It's a different Cavs
He
team now.
He didn't do that dap you up all hard and aggressive.
You
What's
know
up,
what
player?
though? I would
Dang.
if Jared Allen is like hurting, wouldn't this be the game to sit him so Evan could? Because you would space the floor out there.
I don't think he's
Drummond
hurt.
couldn't be sitting in the paint unless they run in 2-3 zones.
I don't think he's
Either
hurt.
way, it's a nothing. It's nothing to be worried about
Even
one
if-
way or the
even
other.
I would run small ball just to get him out the paint because he's a non-factor. If he ain't
Yeah,
in the
that's
I
paint.
true.
I don't think he's hurt. I just think that's the nature of the beast. When the fourth, he might even be the 5th option.
Who,
Like,
Drummond?
Yeah.
like he might because when you get in the game, there's 4 or 5 other people that's going to get shots more than him. Isaac Okoro's been aggressive this year. His function is going to be, what Jared Allen is doing this thing when he is getting lobs, he's getting duck offs, he's ducking in, pick and roll stuff, running the floor. That's his game. We're not going to run nothing for him anyway.
Gee, I'm not worried about the scoring. And on a scale of 1 to 10 on the worry, it's like a 1.2. This is as low as it gets. The scoring comes and goes, but 8 rebounds in 2 games for Jared Allen. He's averaging 12 on the season.
Yeah, but
That's-
even if he's not hurt and it's just like a couple of bad games.
That's what I'm saying. That's of the things that are concerning
Yeah.
of the little
Who-
slump. It's
who-
more of the rebounding and him not being in the right place at the right time for a guy who, throughout his career, has made a lot of money and just got another contract extension for literally being in the right spot at the
Yeah.
right time every time.
So they played Chicago. Who did they play before Chicago?
Brooklyn.
Nets.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Brooklyn. Okay.
Nick Claxton.
Claxton is a athletic big that
Yeah.
runs.
He had a double-double, didn't he?
And Nick Claxton is basically to me a more athletic version of Jared Allen. I like Nick Claxton.
Nick Claxton should not dominate the box score like he did against Jared Allen, though.
Listen. Hey, he's a good player. I like his game.
I think
Sometimes they get you.
I think this is
But
this
boy,
really
I mean,
nothing.
if you're gonna say that though, then Jared Allen had 20 and 17 against the Lakers and Anthony Davis. So like,
He had a bad couple games.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
He-
not worried. I'm
yeah.
not worried. That's my point. But you can't be like, oh, it's Nick Claxton. You
Nah,
can't
yeah.
expect things from him. Well, he dominated.
Yes,
Anthony
he's
Davis.
played poorly the last 2 games. We don't know what the reason is, if it's just a couple of bad games or if he's actually dealing with something. But I think in the end, I think we all agree it really doesn't matter. If it is just a slump, he'll get out of it. Like even I know he's playing great, but like Jared Allen plays the same way every year.
Yeah, boy.
Like he's pretty consistent. So a couple of bad games shouldn't worry us.
Now, if he started doing, if he started not being by defensive rotations, and he started missing assignments on the defensive end, I would say, okay, well, maybe something up with him.
Yeah.
But for me, that's the great luxury of having 2 bigs, right? If you can still get 14 and 10 from him, and what is he averaging right now? 13.5 and something.
Jared's averaging 13 and a half and essentially 11 and a half.
Oh, give me that.
So
Give me that.
You're just speculating he might be injured just because he's played poorly. That's the only reason, right?
Yeah. So he had mentioned, what was the last home game? On Friday night against Golden State, they were talking about the amount of games.
Well, Saturday they played against the Nets.
Yeah, I didn't go Saturday. It was the last time I was at. It was
yeah,
Friday. They talked about the amount of games they had played. They're the only team in the league that's played 12 games in 20 days.
Yeah.
And on Friday, Jared had just mentioned, man, I'm feeling in my legs.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 games since he mentioned that were his 4.3 rebound performance against the Nets and then 9 and 5 against the Bulls last night. I think there might be just a little fatigue, and when you're fatigued, you can, whatever the lowest level of, not like pulling a hammy, but just your knees are sore, whatever.
Yeah.
I would give Jared Allen 2 days off, 3 days off, whatever.
Why not sit him in the next 2 games? Get him ready for the Boston game.
I would 100% be in favor.
Yeah.
of that. 100%.
But at this point, I think we're all in the mode of whatever Kenny Atkinson does, we're going to trust him and give him the benefit of the doubt.
It's going to work.
You know?
I want to bring up one other thing from last night we haven't touched on yet. Earl, you can stop the clip. G. Bush, you tweeted about this specifically. And
I mean, that's amateur hour right there.
What?
That was good.
Earl, stop the clip.
Clip.
Well, so this doesn't have to be in the Jared Allen clip.
Yeah.
But G. Bush.
Behind the scenes. What's up?
By the way, go ahead.
There's a special play in last night's game that we have not mentioned once yet. The first hour and 24 minutes of the game. Steve, take tag board full. G, I want you to give me live play-by-play what's happening here.
Oh, listen, man.
My God.
Listen, that's the up-step two-step, bro. He gave him that whirling dervish, man, like the French judge, if this was the 2029 Winter Olympics, gives him a 5.9 difficulty. This dude, you gonna spin and do a layup package? What layup package is this in 2K? What is this?
That's the John Moran.
This is this is that Jelly Fam. Remember Jelly Fam used to get it popping? And the reverse mic and finger roll.
He should have finished with the left.
You see, put that English on it. You saw, listen, Bull, look at that.
He should have finished.
That
with
was
the left.
Unbelievable.
He didn't finish with the left, Bull.
That was like a scene from like a basketball movie.
Bro,
you see something like that.
That right here, and he took off like he was gonna punch on him too. He took off like, I'm gonna turn this over on you. Then he just came with that little.
Tell him, McNuggets, tell him, basketball 101. He was supposed to finish with the left.
Nah.
So I was telling Earl upstairs, as much fun as those plays are, if he just goes with his left hand, he can finish with an easy layup. It doesn't look anywhere near as cool with the actual advantage of doing a 360 in air.
You're a hater.
It gives you really no advantage.
The man,
but it is one of the most exciting, interesting plays ever. And if you didn't see John Morant's from the other day, John Morant's was even crazier. He switched hands midair, but
This is what I'm saying.
It's incredible feats of athleticism.
So here, let me show you this. Let me just show you this. And I'm gonna do this two things. And just show you how wild these statements is. Remember when Michael Jordan did
the switch in the air,
the switch in the air maneuver against
Everybody thought it was the greatest thing they ever seen.
See, this is y'all 80s folks.
It's the greatest thing they ever seen.
Y'all people in the 80s just didn't have the internet. Y'all y'all slow. Y'all, oh my gosh, Michael Jordan revolutionary. Go back and watch some of that Minimowski regular stuff. This dude, Donovan Mitchell, ain't even the top 10 player in the league. And he just did a 360 pirouette reverse Mikins finger roll from the dots. Michael Jordan did this.
He's arguably top 10.
You saying Michael Jordan's not that great?
Michael Jordan's best plays is regular today.
I don't disagree with that.
His best plays are regular. He did this. I want to be like Mike. You switched the hand.
He went for the dunk.
It wasn't even that was too cute. It was more robotic. It was
You're not good. He went
We got a lot of MJ hate right here.
Hey, bro,
I
ain't seen MJ hit nothing like that. Actually, I did. He threw some backwards stuff. He got some backwards. But this is regular. Like, this is Donovan Mitchell. Like, if Donovan Mitchell did that in the 80s, people were like, oh, my God.
I mean, look, Mike did some stuff. Didn't Mike do he tried to do like a reverse layup and he just threw it up?
Yeah,
that's still crazy.
That's
no
crazy.
Look layup. He just getting fouled, just threw it up, went in. That was crazy.
That's because people back then couldn't shoot. They was getting 12 points a game.
You one of them.
No, come on. Let's not get carried away. They couldn't shoot.
So he benefited because he was more athletic than everybody else in the NBA?
He was the first generation. Ain't nobody was dunking. Back then, he was the first dude with a little bit of athleticism. A little bit. And the rest of them was like,
I think you're going a little far.
You are.
You're going a little far.
Here's what I'm
Nobody's saying they're better athletes than now.
The stuff. Now, Donovan Mitchell is 6'2". And he's doing
this. He's 6'1".
He's 6'1" and doing this. Jordan's 6'6". Like, think about this. Like the athleticism, like the things that people do, and I'm not a new age versus old age guy, but it gets me when people have to get out off my lawn type dudes. But I'm Steph Curry, he's shooting from half court.
Well, you're being a reverse.
But I'm confused.
Get off my lawn, guy.
I'm confused on the argument involved because are you insinuating that what Mike did he wouldn't do today? He wouldn't be able to do that today? Because they are doing that today.
All I'm saying is I think sometimes like some of the stuff like that gets diminished because
Who diminishes it?
we see it all the time. We don't like think about
You
it.
don't see plays like that all the time.
Not the 360. The only people that I've ever seen really do that is John Wall, Ja, and him.
So what I'm saying
Is John Wall still in the NBA?
No.
And John Wall ain't no top nothing. That just goes to show you.
He was nice when he
was
came.
nice.
He was that deal.
But
Don't do that.
The athlete, what I'm saying is the athleticism overall right now
It's way better.
Different. It's
Way
just
better.
different. Like
Yes.
you see a point guard doing that. You're like that. People are like, oh, that's why the dunk contest ain't no good no more. Right?
We've seen every dunk.
You admit the fundamentals were better back then.
Yes, I think the fundamentals, people running offense.
But like, here's the thing. Like, if the great players from today played then, they'd have better fundamentals than they do now, right? And if the great players from then played now, they'd be better athletes than they were. They'd be another level because they'd work out differently. Guys work out differently. They make more money, so they're able to spend on. What does LeBron have? I mean, nobody's LeBron, but like he's got like a cold,
the hyperbaric chamber.
like all these things they had. Guys didn't have that back then.
But you got to think about it like this though too.
Yeah.
Back then, I always hear this. Michael Jordan and them dudes would drink 6-packs at halftime.
Right. And if LeBron and if LeBron had played then, he would have drank
He might, or like these guys was like, yo,
it was a different time.
Forget about sleeping. They up all night playing poker, smoking cigars.
Right. And the player, but guys now they go to the casino. They don't do that stuff.
They go to the strip club.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yes, they do.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It even out. You're right. It even out. People got their vices. I will say though, like that was one of the most spectacular plays that we've seen. And it's about time to start asking yourself, all right, where's Donovan Mitchell? I just saw him the most 30-point games of all time. He's already passed Kyrie Irving.
He is?
Yeah,
For the Cavs.
and for the Cavs. 30 points all time in the Cavs jersey.
He ain't passing LeBron.
Well, he has a couple of
How many
people
more
to pass.
games? How many games played for the Cavs between the two of them?
It was like 300 something for Kyrie. It was way less for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And so he's already had I think over 55
But
games.
even
How long did Kyrie?
but part of that is even since Kyrie played here, offense has exploded in the NBA.
Yes. Yeah,
How many
right.
years did Kyrie play for the Cavs before LeBron?
Before LeBron, 4, right?
4, I think, right?
4.
Right. It was the 4 because he got drafted the year after LeBron left.
Did he?
Or the year after that.
He had the because they had the first pick.
And here's the legacy piece is I think right now if you talk about Donovan Mitchell, I mean,
What?
he done already crept up on everybody but LeBron.
Hey, you said that.
Kyrie's still
You
ahead.
need to stop because that's the second time you just said that. And you about to upset me.
What you mean?
You not about to
You
sit
can't
here
put
and
Donovan
say
ahead of
Donovan is
Kyrie.
better than Kyrie.
I said he crept up on him.
No, you said
No,
the
you said
only person he hasn't crept up on
Is LeBron.
is LeBron.
You can't put him ahead of Kyrie already.
But I'm saying he crept up on him. Like so, if it crept up means I'm right next to you, bro.
So he passed Kyrie.
No, I didn't say he passed.
All right, I
him.
get what you're saying.
You see
All
what I'm
right.
saying? But if he in the VIP section, you can't act like Donovan not on the couches too.
I didn't say that.
So who's on the Cavs Mount Rushmore right now? LeBron, Kyrie. You putting Donovan third?
Donovan Mitchell.
Is it Drunas Ilgauskas? What's wrong with
Nah,
y'all?
I think Mark
Big
Price.
Z.
Mark Price.
Sick of- you know what?
Price has to be on.
I was watching the
Why
Cavs
not Kevin Love?
because he ain't better than Big Z. That's why.
Oh,
Yes, he
stop.
is.
Big Z did
Big
that.
Z.
Big Z did
I see
everything
Big
for
Z
the
all the
Cavs.
time.
That man can
I see him
shoot,
all the time.
Dunk, block, pass.
But listen,
What more you want him to do?
So
Serve water?
Kevin Love done made all NBA teams. Kevin Love is done won gold medals. Kevin Love, like I think he's an all-time rebounding. I think Z is the all-time rebounder
For the Cavs?
for the Cavs. But I think Kevin Love is up there, like in a lot of different things.
Z was second in Cavs scoring for.
But-
He might still be.
But if you talk about Big Z or Kevin Love, Donovan Mitchell go to the finals. I mean, they're called.
Yeah.
They called.
Well, those no.
if Donovan Mitchell,
I
goes
got
to-
Donovan Mitchell
Bo,
third.
You asked about the games played,
Yeah.
by the way. So LeBron has 324 30-point games and 849 total games played.
Okay.
World Be Free is second,
Yep.
Huh.
58 30-point games.
He about
in
to-
275 games played.
He about to catch him in like 2 days.
Donovan Mitchell is third. He has 55 in 134 games played.
That's wild.
And Kyrie had 54 in 381.
Say that again. He played how many games he done play for the Cavs?
Donovan has 55 in 134. Kyrie had 54 in 381.
Wow.
And World Be Free, who is next up for Donovan to catch, had 58 in 275.
Now, to be fair,
55 out of 130. What percentage is that? That's damn.
that's more. That's like 40%.
It's like 40%, yeah.
Now, to be fair to Kyrie played here as a rookie, as a young player. Donovan was already a veteran. But listen to this. I was just, because I wanted to look up the all-time leader. These are the categories that LeBron leads the Cavs all-time in. You ready?
Z. Who's second in scoring all time?
Games, minutes played, field goals, field goal attempts, 2-point field goals, 2-point field goal attempts, 3-point field goals, 3-point field goal attempts, field goals missed, free throws, free throw attempts, defensive rebounds, total rebounds, assists, steals, turnovers, points, triple doubles,
Everything.
minutes per game, points per game,
Is there any stat?
player efficiency rating.
Does he not own anything?
Here's the categories that he is not the all-time Cavs leader.
And then we got Aditi.
Yeah. All right, we'll go real quick. Blocks, Zadrunas.
Ha! Big Z!
LeBron is fourth all-time in blocks. Behind Zadrunas, Hot Rod Williams, and Larry Nance. Zadrunas also all-time leader for the Cavs in personal fouls.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine. We need an aggressor guy. out
Field
there.
goal percentage,
Big Z.
Jarrett Allen, all-time Cavs leader.
crazy.
Wow.
In field by a lot.
That's crazy.
His field goal percentage as a Cav is 64%.
That's why I said when he misses
Yeah.
shots, you know something's up.
Mark West, second, 55%. Evan Mobley, third all-time. Field goal
in the
percentage.
rafters.
Let's see. Free throw percentage, Mark Price, number one all-time, followed by Mo Williams, Kyrie Irving. LeBron not in the top 10 on that one. And rebounds per game. LeBron is not even in the top 10. I'm surprised. Number one is Rick Roberson,
I don't even know who that is.
who played for the Cavs only for 2 years, so that's not really fair. 72 to 74. Average 12 rebounds a game.
Other than that, LeBron owns every. That's
It's LeBron's franchise. Guys, let's bring in Aditi now after a quick word from Ultimate Pro Football GM. Hey, Browns fans, remember our great partner, Ultimate Pro Football GM? Well, they're back, and they've added an amazing new game mode that we got to tell you about. The game that has you step into the shoes of a football franchise's general manager and lead it to glory now has a brand new head coach career mode. So on top of getting to build your dynasty by drafting players, signing free agents, and hiring a coaching staff, you also get to call offensive plays during the games now as well. Additionally, you'll dig the new tools that you can work with, such as individual training camps and an upgraded negotiation system. So this fun and realistic game just got a whole lot better. If you've already installed the app, be sure to update it so you can try out the new mode. If you haven't yet, download it right now. It's a must-have for all football fans. I love it. I know you guys will too. Ultimate Pro Football GM is completely free, has no ads, and is 100% playable offline. Play as you go, when you want, where you want. And here's a special offer for all UCSS fans. Use promo code LOCKEDONNFL in all caps inside the game store to receive a free boost on your franchise. Make sure to get it. The perk helps you jumpstart your play and give you the advantage you want when creating your dynasty. To download the game, just visit ultimate-gm.com or look it up in the App Store. Ultimate Pro Football GM. Start your dynasty today.
By the way, Mike, speaking of being locked in, I am 9-1 picking games against the spread the last 2 weeks. 9-1.
Oh, I'm back
I have
in
to make some people money this week.
I'm back in our fantasy league. Tied for second.
But I'm
place
in
with
first
it.
place.
I know you are. You by 2 games.
Yep.
It's like 4 of us, 6-4.
Guys, we got
All right,
Aditi.
let's get Aditi.
Let's bring in
Let's bring
Aditi
Aditi
here.
in.
She was on the call of the Jets-Cardinals beatdown this weekend. What's
Yeah.
up, Aditi?
Aditi, I want to ask you about that
Yeah.
because I know
Sure.
that Drew Petzing, obviously the former he's a former coach with the Browns, coached under Kevin Stefanski. He's calling the plays in Arizona. And Jason was telling us that you spoke with Kyler Murray and that Kyler really liked what the Cardinals were doing offensively, right?
I mean, we walked in the meeting with Singh and said, what does it feel like to run Kevin Stefanski's offense when Kevin can't run it? That's what we opened with.
You said that?
And he laughed. Oh, yeah, I totally said that.
Look at you. Wow. All right.
He was great about it. I
Yeah.
won't tell you everything he said there, but I will
Okay.
tell you this. Kyler Murray is playing so well right now. And even though his numbers aren't gaudy, Jonathan Gannon, an Ohio native, he said just the other day that he thinks Murray is playing the best football on the planet, and he's not wrong. Kyler said that he's playing the position of quarterback better than he ever has, that he's never been so completely comfortable, and a big piece of that is that he loves him. Now, this system, he'll admit, is sometimes boring for the quarterback. You know, the way he put it the week before they beat down the Jets, they'd played a very controlled game against the Bears. And he said, you know, it's hard because my impact on the game was basically checking into runs. But the Cardinals have a monster run game, and sometimes you need to win behind that run game. So Kyler, for the first time in his life, doesn't necessarily have every single thing on his shoulders. In the past, it was if his team was going to win, it was simply because of how he played. Now, this is a system that takes advantage of everything that's on the field. Obviously, it's run first in a lot of ways. There are a lot of answers. There are a lot of checkdowns. But as Kyler Murray said, you play within the system, then there's an opportunity to go and do those freaky things. He loves working with Petzing. He has evolved so much just in his ability to accept that he doesn't have to be the superstar every single week. It's funny, Petzing was saying every superstar always wants to be the reason that his team wins. But as he's explained to Murray, and Murray is finally getting, this isn't fantasy football. It's not only about the quarterback. And if you have 10 other guys on the field, you use the 10 other guys. But of course, we know that's what the Browns used to do. Maybe not so much anymore.
Damn.
Shots fired.
I mean, no. Look, like,
Aditi.
Petzing is doing so great out there. Kyler Murray is so bought in. To argue against the results that they have. I mean, the Cardinals have 4 wins in a row. They have 5 in the last 6. They're leading their division, and their players are so locked in. They appreciate what they're doing.
Well, let's talk about those Browns then, because I want to ask.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it says.
Well, you don't want to talk about
joins
the
you
Jets? I mean, if
to
you want
talk-
to talk about
Oh.
train wrecks, we can talk about the Jets.
By
Talk
the
about
way,
the Cowboys.
The
we're always
Jets.
talking about people owing apologies. Everybody in the national media had the Jets being a playoff team and a Super Bowl contender, and I said all offseason they were going to stink. Did I not, Mike? I said it all offseason. They were going to suck. Pause.
He was as adamant.
But you know what's so interesting? Who's more disappointing? Are the Jets more disappointing, or are the Cowboys? Remember, the Cowboys were a 12-win team. They paid Dak Prescott. They ultimately paid CeeDee Lamb. 12-win team.
Yeah.
Are the Cowboys actually more disappointing? Like the Jets, we thought they'd be all this, but you have a 40-year-old quarterback coming off of an Achilles and all sorts of.
Well, that's what I was saying, Aditi, but people were ignoring that all offseason.
The Cowboys
They're both
dealt-
equally disappointing.
The Cowboys dealt with a lot of injuries, particularly. on the
Dak
defense.
was terrible this year before he got hurt.
I don't disagree with that, but there's
Yeah.
also a lot of Micah Parsons was out, D-Law was out, Deron Blaine was out. Like, there's a lot of people
They
that
were still
depend
playing
on.
terrible.
Yeah, but how about
on
Micah Parsons calling out his head coach? Did you guys see that?
That was weak.
What do you have to say about
They
Mike
trying to
McCarthy?
get Dion in there. Anyways,
They should hire Dion.
Nah, they ain't gonna hire Dion. Ain't leaving. Well, he might. I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he might once his boys are out. Then
might.
you know.
By the way,
Anyway,
go
all
ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Browns.
No,
are
no,
you
no.
team Jameis or team DTR?
You know, I'd like to see DTR. I think Jameis is such a wonderful personality. I think he's such a great teammate. I love the reclamation stories for quarterbacks. You know, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, guys getting another chance in a new place and growing from their first experiences. I do love all of that, but I think that DTR's got a ton of potential. He's unbelievably heady. He has not necessarily been put in the best position, you know, whether it was the Ravens last year or the Bengals game this year where he didn't even know all week he was going to be the backup and then gets thrown in. The Browns are very high on him. A year ago, Andrew Berry said that he was their 5th highest rated quarterback in the entire draft on board. So give him a chance. Let's go see what you have. You know, Deshaun Watson, is not, regardless of whatever decisions are made, Deshaun Watson won't be ready week 1 of next season. So shouldn't you at least see what you have in DTR? And who's to say that there isn't potential? He's got great rapport with Cedric. He's got a really great mind, a really great head on his shoulders. I'd like to see what you could do with him.
Aditi, if you were the general
Do you
manager,
disagree? What do you guys think? This is supposed to be a conversation.
I'm with you. I'm team DTR as well. I think it just makes sense because he's the only guy that's on the roster past this season, so you might as well go ahead and lean into
see
that.
what you have.
I
Right.
wouldn't do it
Right.
because DTR is not the answer. We all know this. It's like a
How
1
do
in
we know
100.
this?
Because he weighs like 100 pounds. This guy can't be he's gotten
that
hurt
your
4
only thing
times.
with him?
He's played 5 games. He's been hurt 4 times.
whole year.
This guy can't last. He is not going to be the quarterback of the future. They've got to get it. And you know what? I know, and I used to be one of these people that was like, yeah, you want to have as good a draft pick as possible. But the Browns have done so much losing. There's such a loser mentality in this organization that I think trying to win is meaningful. And if you have a good GM, which they don't, but if you do have a good GM, then it shouldn't matter where you're drafting. You should be able to get good players.
I was just about to
You
ask,
made a face, Aditi.
I was just about to ask this question, Aditi.
Andrew Berry's done a bad job. Let's be honest about
If
it.
you had the number one, with the first pick the Browns had take, and they have this year, would you draft a quarterback?
Probably. Well, I'd want to see DTR first, and then maybe yes.
So
Again,
the
I
problem
think
with
that you're
drafting a
writing
quarterback, got to be
them
a
off.
quarterback
You're
worth
writing
it.
them off, and Adam, it's been such a small sample size, okay?
Yeah.
And yes, size is certainly something to think about, but Kyler Murray's not very tall, and look at where he's going, and guys can put on weight, and I want to see what he is before I am done.
I'm with you, Aditi.
But let's face it.
100%, I'm with
Tyvis.
you.
The percentage of quarterbacks drafted as late as him that have any success in the NFL is almost zero. I know you can give a couple
So
of
what?
examples.
There's always a unicorn. There's always a unicorn. There's always a Tom Brady. How do you know you don't have a unicorn?
He got arm
Why do you
talent.
write off a guy before you've even given him a chance?
He'll get a chance because Jameis is not going to play the rest of the year. But I'd play Jameis for another few weeks and try to give the team a chance to win at least some games.
But do you really think he gives you the better chance to win?
By a lot, yes.
Dang.
I mean, look, the coaching staff had made a decision.
Yeah.
They felt that they had 2 number 2s in DTR and Jameis. Jameis started as the number 2. Before that Bengals game, they made the decision that actually DTR should be the number 2. There was a reason that they were moving to DTR as the number 2. Now, I do think it's malpractice that they didn't give him the second team reps all week, that they didn't prepare him to actually be the backup, but they clearly felt strongly enough about what they're seeing from him in practice to move him ahead of Jameis Winston.
Well,
So
I mean-
I don't know that they're really as far apart as you are implying they
Well,
are.
Aditi, they also made the argument that Deshaun Watson was going to give them the best chance to win. And, I mean, I don't know if I trust their honesty right now, their judgment. Is that unfair?
I'm just going to say no comment on that one, okay?
Oh, I love a no comment that we read between the lines.
Oh, we can make it up.
Well,
Make it
you
up.
read between the lines at your own peril. Your own peril.
Go ahead.
I mean, Jed Wills, was it as bad as it sounded?
Did you hear the comment?
I didn't. Can you repeat it for me totally, like verbatim?
Can we play it, Mike, so she can hear
The
it? or
Jed
no?
Wills? Yeah,
Yeah.
we can play it again.
All right.
We'll just play the first part, but this is Jed
Yeah.
Wills being asked about why he didn't play what he thought, and he mentions it being a business decision. Here it is.
It was pretty shocking. I mean, I decided myself that I made a business decision not to play after the Bengals game, going into that Ravens game, because I was injured. And then the next week is when I received the news. So, I mean, I got hyperextended on the very first play. I kind of felt it, but we were going up on the ball, and everybody was getting set. So I was like, well, I'll stay in. If it hurts later and I got to come out, then it is what it is. But I ended up finishing the game. The next day I got some treatment and stuff, and my knee was really swollen. I couldn't really bend it, so played out the week how it went, and I wasn't ready for game time, so I didn't end up playing. Early on in the week, it was just more kind of like they evaluated what it was. I had
right,
a
you
lot
wanna
of
cut it
floating, I had
there?
to get drained, I had some swelling, I had some damage to my cartilage, and I have a bone bruise that I've been dealing with since last year. So they just kind of evaluated it. I didn't practice the first 2 days that were full speed and then we had a padded practice. I didn't practice. I tried to do some stuff on the Friday, didn't feel good, and then they just declared me as inactive after that Friday practice.
A lot of fans, Aditi, were worked up about him saying it was a business decision. Tyvis and I didn't have a problem with it. G did have a problem with it. A lot of fans have a problem with what he said. What do you think?
I don't. I think I appreciate all the context because obviously all I'd seen was that little one snippet with the business decision. I don't have a problem with it. I think he gave enough explanation to say that he just wasn't healthy.
Right.
And so perhaps it's one of those that if you're in a playoff game and a must-win, you get shot up and you play through as much pain as you possibly can. But in a situation like he felt, I can't really give 100%. I won't be at my best out there, and I don't want to look like a fraction of myself and then get ripped for that. So, I don't have as much, I'm unwilling to hang the hat, if that's what you're saying, basically.
By the way, I got to tell you, Aditi, and I don't mean to embarrass you, and I don't mean to throw some of your colleagues under the bus.
That's a great setup. There we go. All right.
But you and Evan Washburn are the only two sideline reporters I will listen to. Otherwise, I mute the sideline reporter every time because every other sideline reporter besides you and Evan asks stupid questions. I'm sorry. I know it's a little mean. Maybe it's not their fault. You actually ask like human being real questions. So does Evan. The rest of the sideline reporters, in my mind, are terrible, and I know that's mean, and I apologize. And if you don't want to even say anything, that's fine. But it's a compliment to you that I listen to you because you're good and Evan's good, and that's it. That's my opinion. I'm sorry if I insulted people.
Moving on. Like, how does someone respond to something like that?
Can't respond.
I feel like
I just gave you a compliment and you can't even respond.
I appreciate that you listen to me, and I appreciate that you like my questions. And it's funny because I would tell you right now, I think that, and I would get in trouble for saying this because there are so many people that are tremendous at this job. But let me just say, I love Melissa Stark. I think she is tremendous at what she does. She is also a dear friend of mine, and we talk about what we do professionally. And you bring up questions every week. We kind of go through interviews that we've done, that other people do. And the point that you're making is to try to be human and get human response.
Yes.
It's so important.
Yes.
Because otherwise it can be very formulaic. A lot of these guys, especially quarterbacks, are trained generic as can be. And, sometimes just kind of throwing somebody for a loop or making them laugh out loud or asking the unexpected just gives you a little bit more of a window into people who, quite frankly, just as we did with Jed Wills, where we are parsing every word he said, these people are trained to just be as straight as can be. So I think it's harder. I think it's a lot harder to ask questions in those moments than you realize. And to ask the right questions. And no one on the other side of the TV necessarily realizes how many constraints we are often under, or the things that are happening around us, or parameters that are set for us. So all I would ask is that you give some grace to the people that are doing a job that maybe you have not ever done, because you may not know all that good. It's not as easy as a lot of people think.
And Melissa Stark is good. I'll throw her in the good crew too. But like when you interviewed Flacco after the game that time, and you joked about the Richard, I can't remember exactly what it was, but something about Richardson saying he's cooler than he thought.
Richardson thinking he was cooler than,
Right, that was funny. You brought out his personality. But you're right. It's hard to bring out personalities in those quick situations.
I'll give you the example, not to pat myself on the back, but I'll come back to Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is very, very straight. And he's very careful. And if you remember, a year ago, Kyler Murray was coming off of injury and people had written him off as a bust and were ripping him in all these different ways before he had this new offense, and loved working with Drew Petzing and Isaiah Wolfork, another guy who was in Cleveland. And in any case, Kyler's pretty straight and he takes it straight. So I just tried to open up with something that I hoped would kind of take him in a different direction. And that is that the Bears game that they had won the previous week, we talked at length, there was kind of a boring game for him. I mean, they had 200 and something rush yards. And as he said it, I impacted the game by canning, meaning can run. He checked down to runs basically all game. And so I started with, last week you said the win was boring. How about this week? Because he threw the ball all over the place, had all these touchdowns. And Kyler laughed out loud. Like, he literally looked at me, laughed, hung his head down, came back. And if you think about it, his answer was actually after that fairly generic. Talking about what a great team effort it was. Mm-hmm. He started with, yes, this was a lot more fun for me and the receivers, but it was such a great team effort, and the run game did this, and the offensive line did this, and our defense did this. But just getting him to laugh at the start and to throw him off balance a little bit, I felt made it a better interview, because you got to see a little bit of his personality and see that he's not strict robot that you often see. But it doesn't always work. The third question I asked him in the preseason, he had said people are sleeping on the Cardinals. Well, now here the Cardinals have won 4 in a row. They're leading their division. I said, I'm going to give you some of your other old words. You said that people were sleeping on the Cardinals. What do you think now? And he gave an answer you'd expect. He's like, yeah, you're right. I did say that. But like I said to you the other day, blah, 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 blah. And, whatever he said, whether it matters or it doesn't. I didn't get a great answer. So, sometimes you try and you win, and sometimes you try and you fail, but at least you try.
All right, Aditi.
That's my attitude, at least.
I apologize if I put you in an awkward spot. You handled it like a total pro, as you always do, unlike me.
I appreciate that.
And we will see you next week. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, Aditi.
I'm trying to get her taken off the Christmas party list.
Some of those silent reporters are just terrible.
That's a shame.
They ask the same crappy questions. They just got their job because they're pretty. And, stop it.
Say how you
We got super chats, and then, Bull, you get 60 seconds on the guards. First super chat comes from Brett Watson, who says, Mikey, do not shave, and please tell Stephen A. Powell to use his PTO.
Stephen A. Powell.
That's crazy.
Stephen A. Powell.
Eddie, our guy Eddie says, in the purple hat, Mike looks like Kevin Stefanski for Halloween.
No.
It's an Emerson College hat, by the way. Shout out to the Lions. 2-0 to start the season.
His beard is not as
Mike
wavy.
actually has a personality.
Thank you. DB Dog 21 says, tanking is a loser's mentality.
Yes.
Nobody that has ever played any competitive sport would ever think about tanking. Losing breeds losing.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Mr. Red Pants says, Mr. Bush, it's regular because of Michael Jordan, etc. Talking about the athleticism and some of the spectacular plays in the NBA now.
I mean, Mike is Mike. I mean, he's going to always be Mike. Hey, I got a pair of mics on right now. Tyvus stay with the mics on.
Mike.
But let's be real. Y'all the 80s babies really, y'all inflate a lot of stuff, man.
Aren't you an 80 baby?
81.
80s baby?
Yeah,
you were an 80s baby.
Yeah, I know. That's how I would know.
Yeah.
I was in there.
What was that time? What was that? That's not baby boomers. What was that?
No.
I think it's Generation X or something.
I'm Gen X.
So not millennials?
Hold on. I'll bring it up here. Oh, we don't have time. You got another one, Mike?
I got a couple more, so you look that up while I get these last 3 super chats out. Charles wants to know, where can I get the Chief Wahoo hats that Tyvus has?
Swagnito.
Not Chief Wahoo.
Swagnito.
That is an African American. That is, you see the waves coming down? That is an African American. That's why we are allowed wearing it. But if you want to support the community, go holler at my man Swagnito. SWAGGNETO. That's on Instagram, Swagnito. He'll hook you up.
All right,
man.
according to this list, G. Bush, you are
Why?
just barely a millennial. It doesn't list Gen Y.
Gen Y ain't on there?
No.
2 more. Our guy Daryl says, Atkinson with the all-white lineup for the comeback. Who says white men can't jump? Cavs are legit. Love you guys. And Sailesh Sastry, I hope I pronounced that right, says, this has to be the most likable Cavs team ever. So many high-class players. Yeah. Never in trouble, always did the right thing. Those traits count for a lot over and above their talent. I'm a diehard Cleveland fan from India, so thank you to So at least for watching and Bull, we didn't get
Yeah.
20 gifted memberships for you to have to tweet hashtag let them know. We got 10 though.
Okay.
So it's up to you. If
Didn't
you want.
work.
Gen Y is also known as millennials. It could be either way.
Why did you need time to talk about
Let me do my
You got
Guardians
your
minute
Guardians
here.
minute to the end of the show. All you.
Okay, the Cleveland Guardians have an opportunity that
Juan Soto.
they've never really had because of their inability to spend significant money. They have the ability, in a rare circumstance, to sign a superstar talent at minimal money. There's a player coming to America, not Eddie Murphy. His name is Roki Sasaki. Roki Sasaki is the best pitcher in the Japanese league. He is expected to be an instant star in Major League Baseball. But here's the deal. Because he's so young and he's not a Japanese league free agent, he's got to be posted by his team, which means you can only pay him from your international pool money, which means there's a serious limit as to how much he can make. Every team has the same amount of international pool money to start. It goes down or up depending on how you use it. And it's not a lot. So the Guardian, now I don't know if he's going to be willing to come to Cleveland, but the Guardian should go all out because it's an opportunity to sign a superstar talent at for less than $10 million a year.
So
this is a no-brainer. Go get Roki Sasaki. He'll be your ace next
So
time.
he going to the
We'll talk
Dodgers
about
or
it
the
more in
Yankees?
overtime. We'll see you in a sec.
See ya.
Hey, if they don't go, peace, we're going to talk about this. If they don't